Jelly, jelly.
Office at home, nice, so very well. Sit someplace and comfort it. Just like reading. There you go.
So on this dental thing, should I just send them copies, cause I might zero from my,
I'll take care of it. Just leave it for me.
well, I
We'll
got
focus on that later.
my bills.
Perfect. Well, we'll focus on that later.
Okay.
You have to talk after that, but they already sent it.
Okay. Right on. Oh, I make more money on life insurance than anything else, though. So.
They need to get some because I have a new child.
Yeah. A little bit.
It's not if I die, it's when one of these
Yeah, I don't
sorry
either.
bastards takes me out.
Oh no. I feel my old right.
Wait a minute.
We'll call the work study to order while Lisa is making some additional copies for to put up here for the public copy. The minutes from last meeting and some additional handouts that we got in our council packet. It's got some budget numbers we were throwing together and that information. So in our work study, well, we should wait for Lisa because I believe she records this also.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tanner's not gonna be here tonight. He's got truck troubles. Stuck out of town.
Winter with diesel, right?
Mm-hmm. Seneca. Gel.
It's not fun.
Mm.
You can't push one of those things.
No. Like 10 guys probably could push like an inch. Well, not all of us are as strong as you.
Yeah, just leave it. If it's downhill, it's easy.
Yeah, he was here, I already saw it.
So am I.
Once you get the brakes off. Staples oil, right?
Yeah.
No, they're not a real big outfit,
Oh, they're not?
are they?
I don't know.
I mean, they're mostly southern Minnesota.
I could eBay them and check it out.
I've never
But
checked it out.
whatever.
You drive through Pemberton on the way to Mankato, on the north side of the road there, this is, you're going on Staples Oil. I've seen it. I swear to God, it's him up there on Logan. It probably is. That is for the beast out of.
Yeah. Puzzle Beach.
See where I took the family for dinner? We went to a Pirate's favorite fast food place.
Long John Silver's? Oh. Nerd.
For that,
What a nerd.
For that night, we all had to be in costume and character, so I think I knew my Peg.
Hey, Terry.
Yes, dear.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's our soul trip.
I like that.
He's not
Can-
right.
Where? I want
It's on Etsy.
What is it?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
one.
Part of the puzzle piece.
Nice. I'm puzzled enough. I don't need a
Right.
reminder.
See, I'd be the puzzle piece with all the frayed ends.
Maybe you too.
It's folded in half.
So really,
It's crunched up.
You're afraid not. So really, you're afraid to not. It'll be your own. Come on in, sit
No, really, that's my schedule.
Tip your bartender.
That's my schedule.
Don't forget to tip your bartender.
This will be interesting. You know that is.
Statutory tort limits, I don't know what that means. Nice. But that's it. Next one.
Great.
Hey, yeah. Is that right? What? 23, July of 2023?
23.
Oh, she was just saying that particular meeting that. That's not the-
Yeah.
No. That was the last.
I think it was July
Yes.
24, wasn't it?
No, it was 23.
Over a year ago.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was. We're just gonna.
I could play it for you if you'd like to hear it.
We're gonna just keep rehashing it.
Yeah, that'd be
At
cool.
least.
Until that new mayor gets in there, everybody's gonna quit.
10-minute meetings. Sure.
Yep.
I personally think the longest part should be
The comment.
Yep.
If the rest of it was run according to the way that it could be run.
See, that's what it, that's what we need council plans to fix.
Lisa. Can you bring that stack for review and I'll help you turn pages?
When you're ready, Lisa, we'll start the work study. I think we take two for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We already have this.
Yes, we sure do.
We already have that.
Yes, we sure do.
We already have that.
Yes, we sure do. Oh, I know. That's wrong. Okay, but look at this.
Ready? Yeah.
So that's what she's
Okay, we'll call the work study to order. And what we do for our work study is review, just look at how the agenda's gonna go. If we have anything during the work study we can look at ahead of time, for make the regular meeting go faster.
Like this.
So in the regular meeting, the normal things are to approve the minutes from last meeting and have a public comment. And then, have Nicole, District 5 Commissioner speak. We've got, Dairyland, we've got a representative from Dairyland that's gonna be here to talk to us about, an easement. Then we'll have the fire department report. I see that Jeff isn't here. Then the fire department task force report, if David Tanner has anything to update us. And then the water wastewater report from Travis, and then the clerk report from Lisa. And then, for old business, the cannabis regulations, we'll talk about those next steps. And the next step are to have a public hearing to change the existing zoning. Look at the different areas in town and where you designate that you would allow them to be. Then we decide on a date to have the public hearing. We've kind of thrown out a preliminary date of December 16th. We have to put an announcement in the paper 10 days before that. And then we will have to decide at that public hearing who's going to answer questions. Do we want somebody knowledgeable there than just our council members? Do we want representatives from the legal end that are working with us to be there to answer the questions, that explain what's happening and why? So we'll have to decide if we're gonna be our own, or if we're gonna have someone there to answer questions and assign a date and time. We have a public hearing, and then after the public time we have a special meeting, the council would actually vote on it. The water problems, I don't know if we've got anything new to talk about or bring up on that. Number 3, the creek cleanup and repair. I know that grants were gonna be finalized in December, so we weren't gonna know anything at this time. So that, unless somebody knows something new, that's where that is at. Then number 4, we're gonna talk up about that backup camera for the vehicles. I think there are gonna be some quotes, and we'll have that discussion. Under new business, we've got data practice policies. We've been given the data practice policy paperwork to look at and review, so we have to decide.
I didn't see
if
it.
we want to accept those policies and find out, ask if we have any further questions that we need the attorney to answer before we accept those policies. And part of those policies, when we get to looking at them, where you decide who your responsible person is. So we've got, there's 2 or 3 documents there to look at when we look at those. Then we want to acknowledge that we did get a data request from Lion News, and we have to discuss, once we decide who the responsible party is, we decide who responds to him and what the response should be. And again, if we want to have our attorneys do the responding as a council, we'll decide that. Then the last items on there are regular things that we do annually in December when we end the year. Mail-in balloting, you have to make an annual resolution for that. Fees and charges, we have fees and charges in our ordinances, and that's where we talk about mayor and council pay, and what we charge for outside water, what we charge for hall rental, what we charge for water and sewer bills. There's a sheet in the packet, and we'll go through that and see if we want to change any of those items. The community hall rental, 50 for residents, 100 for others, non-sufficient funds return checks, $30, late fee, $40, water and sewer hookup, $300, water and sewer reconnect, $75, so we'll go through all of those. I don't know if part of the work study, if you want to go through some of them now. I think we talked about having a change on what we charge for water when an outside person wants to use. I actually thought that was on. I wonder if there's a newer version. I wonder if they don't have the newest version.
And I'm just gonna do this.
We automatically have water and sewer going up every year. So we don't have to do anything about that unless we decide that we don't want it to go up like that. A recommendation, when I was looking at them myself, is under what the mayor and council persons get paid per each meeting. At the end of every year, we always have a discussion and question ourselves and wonder, how does that work again? Are you automatically paid for every meeting, and then after you miss 3, do you start minusing? Or do you get paid for every meeting you attend? Does the mayor pro tem get paid extra? We don't have any of those details defined, so it might be good to get them defined better for whoever in the future is doing the calculations. So for example, I would in here in the ordinance, it says mayor's compensation per council meeting shall be $75. So I would recommend that it, even though it's more wordy, that it says mayor's compensation per attended meeting should be $75 for regular council council meeting. Special meeting and closed meeting. If special meetings and closed meetings are held on the same date before, during, or after the regular meeting, there's no additional meeting paid. Additional compensated is not paid for attending attorney meetings, court dates, project meetings like FEMA and cannabis, attending special events, education online or in person, or anything where the entire council does not take part together as an official city meeting. And for the council pay, I recommend that we add the council member acting as mayor pro tem should receive an additional $15 for each meeting they conduct in the mayor's absence.
They
So
should be
that's-
paid the same as the mayor.
That's not, we don't have that rule, so it's like, oh, now, remember, how's that supposed to go? So I'm just recommending that it be spelled out in the ordinance so that future people don't every December we're going, oh, no, what is that supposed to be? So those are the two recommendations and changes there.
I suggest that since we're getting so much data, have some requests that the shop area that we charge 25 cents. That's
That would be a good addition.
Can you speak up just a little bit, just because the heater's on?
That'd be a good addition to where now that the data practices, part of implementing that, there's a consent form, and it spells out on there that there's a fee. So if anything that the city's gonna have a fee for, it should be spelled out in this ordinance. Like, and for example, we say, it says there's no fees for like construction authorization form, open burning authorization, and use of the shelter, softball field have no fee. So it's anything that there's gonna be a fee we should list, so that should be an addition that we should discuss and agree and vote on to change the fees and add that the fee for, the data practices. And you can, this, at the end of the year, it's a good time to review these fees and charges, but you actually could do them any old time during the year that you decide to amend an ordinance. You would amend it, vote it, publish it in the paper. It's just easier to do it all at one time at the end of the year. For COLA, for the cost of living adjustment, in the packet, there's a paper, and it just shows what the history has been. What Social Security recommended for COLA, and then what Twin Lakes did. And sometimes it's nice to have that to look back and see, for example, it looks like Twin Lakes was pretty steadily giving anywhere from 3 to 4%. And then the last 3 years, when Social Security was higher, which means inflation was higher, it shows when it was 5.9, we gave 4, when it was 8.7, we gave 6, and then when it was 3.2, we gave 4. So you could say we're behind in the cost of living comparing to Social Security. If you ask around or try and do some research, it sounds like the county, some of the county employees, I don't know if all of them, are asking for 6%. The city of Overtley last year, I believe they gave 28% over 3 years. And I think sheriff is asking for 8%, and the county attorney is asking for 9%. That's some of what I know others are asking for their cost of living.
that's one of the offices.
Yeah, yeah. Right, not 6% that the county employees do. So I think that's a bump up to, on top of whatever their salary is. I don't know. It's hard to get that, it's overwhelming if you start looking for that information, try and find it, try and be prepared. final budget in the packet. There's some papers with budget information, and it's a lot of numbers. It's overwhelming, but it's kind of trying to compare what the budget was to the actual. And then look at the actual, how they've been running a bunch of years in a row. And, the final piece of it is to look at your actual and your budget and look at what you want your budget to be. And then when you do the budget, your revenue has to equal your expense. And so that can get tricky. The water revenue has to equal the water expense. And the sewer revenue has to equal the sewer expense. And then the total revenue has to, so between all of those numbers, you have to be realistic, and then when you look at your revenue is not equal to your expense. Then you have to either look at cutting your expense or look at where you're gonna get that additional revenue. And then after we look at the budget numbers and talk about them and approve them, then we have the levy, which the levy is percent. In September, we voted on a preliminary budget and a preliminary percent of levy. And the percent of the levy is the amount that goes to the county that goes on people's property taxes that we turn around and collect as part of our revenue. And then we have other new business, and then we talk about complaints, and then we have another public comment, and then we look at the bills for approval, and then we make a motion to adjourn, and then after the motion to adjourn, immediately following that adjournment of our regular meeting, we're gonna move to a closed meeting, as permitted by Minnesota statute, to evaluate employee performance wage for the year-round employees, Travis and Lisa. And I don't know if we've decided if we're gonna go back there in the hall, or if everybody will be, after adjournment, just ask to clear out and we have it here. And then the next council meeting is Monday, January 6th, and at that meeting, the new elected officials take their oath of office. David Presco as mayor, and Sandy Sletton and Jeff Postumus as councilpersons. And you establish the attorney, the newspaper, and the bank. And for League of Minnesota Cities Insurance, there's a statutory tort limit statement that every year has to be on the records as talked about. And then you assign your mayor pro tem at the January meeting. Those things all happen at the January meeting. So, and if you plan to change the attorney, the newspaper, or the bank, it might be good to be prepared ahead of time with information about that switch, like rates and are they taking new customers,
You can have all of that at all times.
all of that information. So we've got a lot to cover. Our mouth is already dry.
I'm gonna deal with this piece.
We've got a few minutes then to wait for 7 o'clock to start the regular meeting.
Kathy, since the official meeting hasn't started, do you have the proposed public data policy? I see it's not in the public packet. Do you have a copy of that?
We do. Some of that, I'll admit, because our proposed information came from our attorney, I don't know until we decide if it's attorney-client privilege until we vote on it and establish it. So that's the only reason it's not in there, but I know I have a copy of my own. We each had a copy of our own, and I brought mine with me.
And for future reference, the reason I'm asking is that by law, anything that's going to be discussed by the council and in their packets has to be available to the public.
It's not technically in our packets. We were given it ahead of time to review as client-attorney privilege, so that's a gray area for me, so I appreciate the information.
Yep.
Because I guess the additional piece of that is if we share client privilege information with outside of the council members, then that increases the city's liability. Was the rest,
Which they
so.
also concerned. That's what I just said. They can't take any action on it because they did not have it.
We'll start, and then when we get to that part, I'll have Lisa make some comments. Right, we'll start the discussion.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think they're there, but here they are if you want to look at it.
Okay, we'll start with the approval of the minutes from last meeting. We did
No.
receive a copy of the minutes ahead of time. It's a lot of pages. Instead of doing a summary minutes, we've been using the recording to do try to get word for word. That's lots of pages and it takes a lot of time to get it all written out.
I needed to explain something.
Okay?
In 7. In the middle of the page, it says, God, Lauren, why didn't you come up with both? What's that?
Which page? We're
Seven. 7. No, it's number 7.
Number 7.
Not page 7.
Are you talking agenda or meeting notes?
The meeting minutes from November 4th.
Old meeting.
We're at-
With our numbers.
Is that number 7, bingo in the hall?
Yeah.
And where did you say it says what?
In the middle of it, it said, God, Lauren, why did you sit in the cold? Why didn't you come up here? We could have either moved the trucks out, or we could have used that, or we'll swap. We'll go play some bingo out there. Yeah, and we could do that if this was rented.
That one, Tanner had the.
Your app doesn't, I think it's very good.
There, is it supposed to say like, it might have been, it should have been that one, or Tanner,
Actually, we're talking, I think either you or Janelle was talking about coming in here instead of.
Lauren.
It's not
We don't know.
Lauren.
It's just a mistake by the app that's transcribing.
I think it should be Tanner.
It should be Tanner.
Oh.
Microsoft Word has
Well, it
real
didn't
good
make any sense. That's
copy
what-
translation. There's the meeting minutes up here. Are you sure?
Me either.
Once it was Tanner,
You know
then
what?
yeah, then it was.
Cause yeah, this is. You flip to the page. Yeah, you're right.
Make a motion to accept the minutes, with the correction of number 7, read as Tanner, not Lauren.
Any further discussion? Jean made a motion to approve with the change of Tanner. The seconds. Any further discussion? Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes with the, correction from Lauren to Tanner. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The first public comment. Anybody that would like to speak?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, first of all, I don't know how we're having guest forum already. Shouldn't we have a,
Yes, something up.
yeah, shouldn't we have an approval of the agenda?
Oh,
No, you approved the last meeting minutes, not the agenda.
yeah, right. Did we actually, we talked about that, and then did we actually approve it?
Oh, we did.
Approve that we add that to the agenda?
It is something that's required. That's what's in the
It's,
handbook.
I think it's a recommended.
No, it's Robert's Rules of Order. And they're rules, not suggestions.
Right, and cities don't have to follow them either.
No, but they do have to follow an identified parliamentary procedure,
Right.
and it is in all 3 acceptable parliamentary procedures to accept.
And we did talk about that last time, is that we don't have, and that's another practice or policy we don't have, is agendas, meeting minutes, rules of order.
Well, I can wait a second for my guest comment if you guys want to approve the agenda first. I can wait.
Well, let's have a motion. I don't think we had a motion to add that step to the agenda. Did we? We talked about it, but I don't know that we made a motion. So if we want that, does somebody want to make a motion and second it? And let's
I think
have
we
that
should,
vote
yeah, it
recorded.
should be that. Motion that we should approve the agenda, beginning of the meeting.
And I'll second it.
Okay. Any more discussion on that? Okay, motion's been made and seconded to add approval of the agenda to the agenda right after approval of the minutes from last meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, now that you made a motion to add it, are you going to approve the agenda?
Well, no. I do have something I would like to bring up. I'd like to make a motion to request the state auditor to do a audit of the city for the last 5 years since you are stepping out. It is mandatory that it does get done. And I guess we do have to vote on that. I guess that get done. So make a motion that we do that tonight, that we sign it, and Lisa's signs it, so I can get it mailed off right away. Gotta get done before you step out. Be done.
I don't know that they've done it before, but we need to do everything we should be
That's what we're
doing.
supposed to do, so.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
So you wanna make a motion that the state auditor does an audit of the last 5 years?
We gotta sign it before, end of the meeting, at least we get it mailed out, I guess.
And if that's whenever there's a new mayor and mayor term are 2 years, do you do it, what
Oh,
happens
whatever,
then?
yeah, whenever you leave,
I think it changed.
that's 4 years if I will.
So whenever there's a mayor change,
Right.
not
Yeah,
necessarily
change.
5
I
years.
think it's like every 4, right? No, mayor's every 2
Mayor's
years.
too. That's fine, yeah.
Now, and get done, let's do it.
Right, right.
I don't like
Okay,
it.
motion's been made and seconded to request the state audit from the auditor
Right,
at the end of my election
right.
year, term. All in favor?
Is it going to be every 2 years then?
Well, they said, when I talked to them, it was from January 1st to 2020, because you've been in for,
4 years, second 2-year term.
right,
So
something.
you want it to be 4 years then?
Well, that, yeah, because it was 25, so we did January 1st to 2020, January 1st to 2020.
And then it would go to 2 years.
And every
Then
2
every 2
years?
years it'll go like when he stepped in there. Evidently it wasn't done before, so we must be looking at.
Not that we know of, but
Huh?
it's always a good thing. Audits are usually a good thing.
We'll have to sign it, and she signed it tonight, we'll get it in mail or something.
Okay.
It's her proper.
Any, so that,
I'll sign it.
there's been a motion made and
Yeah,
seconded.
seconded.
I
To
second.
request the end of the term mayor audit for the city from the state auditor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Pass it around, you can sign
And that can be done.
Okay, so that is part of our approval of the agenda, and we did it, so do we, is that?
Please stand by.
So then do we further approve the agenda?
I don't know, do you have
After taking
anything?
care of that.
On with it.
Let's have a motion. Let's have a motion to approve the agenda, now that we took care of that item.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Discussion? Any more? Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor? Agenda approved.
Are you sure you want to improve your agenda the way it's written? Because on, closed meeting, statute 13D.05, I don't see a subdivision quoted, I don't see a paragraph quoted, and anything having to do with wage has to be public, since the public pays the wage. So are you sure you want to approve the agenda?
Yes.
Well, then I'll just share with you that there's another violation within that very same thing. The posting on the window does not have, it's not dated as to when it was posted. It's required to be posted 3 days and dated, and it does not state a specific purpose under which the closed meeting is to be held, which you yourself have quoted is mandatory in a special meeting, so you can't have the closed door meeting.
Can't have the vote.
Purpose,
The closed door meeting did not have public notice sufficient to state statutes and cannot be held tonight.
okay, so describe to me.
It must be posted 3 days in advance and dated, and it has to specify the purpose of the closed door meeting.
The purpose is there.
No, it is not. Here's your posting from the front door an hour and a half before the meeting. It's not
No, I
dated.
know
in
it's
it.
not dated, I agree with
I
that.
know, I'm just showing you I'm not communicating, it just doesn't have the purpose of the meeting.
And you can't go into a closed meeting and discuss somebody's wages when it's the taxpayers that are paying that. You have to do that in an open meeting.
Yep.
We're gonna vote on their wages anyway.
We,
You
okay,
can do that in an open meeting.
Slow down and let her absorb what's being said.
in the public meeting, we cover the cost of living wage adjustment to everybody. The performance wage,
Again, is paid for by the taxpayers.
right. And that's
So
an
that needs to be discussed with the
performance
taxpayers.
evaluation is
Performance evaluation can be in a closed door meeting.
for purposes of,
The wage portion cannot, it's very clear.
Wage portion cannot.
we haven't done it before, but when we're just trying to do it like other cities do. So we've never done it before.
So you probably shouldn't do it since we just told you it would be illegal to do it. That's just my suggestion.
It should probably be tabled till next week.
Yes, and we had, council members had an option to do a different time, different date. Instead of doing this.
Yeah, I think maybe we should just table it till next month. Do a little more research on it. I'm not gonna get in trouble.
And Tanner's not here.
Dan's not there either. Maybe he's got some input too. Maybe we should see what he thinks. I got a motion to do that. So maybe you got something you want to say too, you know?
Right.
So I make a motion that we table it.
I'll second that till next month. And we'll get it.
Any further discussion? Motion's been made and seconded to table the wage, till we find out more, the wage part of the performance evaluation to be closed or open.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, I'm opposed. But it still passes. Anything else?
Guest forum now? Guest forum now. Okay. So, I happen to be driving down the road. Sometimes I do that. And I thought, now, how can anybody in this city hold anybody else accountable for what their yard looks like when they got two junk vehicles sitting in their yard? Instead of on a driveway, instead of on gravel driveway anywhere, we go after the guy across the street here because he's got a vehicle that sits there that doesn't move. It's on his driveway. And yet our mayor parks two vehicles on her lawn. Just out of curiosity, I thought kind of hard to hold anybody accountable.
Well, and you know that white truck's been on the street until it possibly was gonna snow and the white truck is gone now.
Okay, the car doesn't run.
Are they currently registered?
Yeah,
The car doesn't run. She's told us that.
it runs, it just needs a jump, but yes.
Okay, how
Thanks
come?
for picking on me, but you are totally right.
You're welcome, I'm just saying.
You know, it's been
You
there
know.
a few months and you know it's from my parents and,
I get that.
yeah.
My parents' junk is in behind everything, so it's not seen. I'm just saying I deal with the same thing that you're dealing with.
It's gotta be gone.
I try and keep my property nice and clean.
Anyway,
My property's not clean in your opinion, okay?
it's Janelle's time to speak.
I took the liberty of printing the Minnesota Mayor's Handbook, and I want to give it to Bear Trap as our new mayor. I know that you'll read it, and I know that you'll do a wonderful job
This is a new one.
compared to that.
Right.
Anyone else? Public comment?
I would just like to know why the city keeps funding the fire department when they never gave the city any information. And the city council, on another note, the city council's obligation is to enforce the ordinances that they have on file. That ain't happening, and Tanner's not here. He can't speak for himself, but it ain't happening.
Anyone else?
and I don't wanna be on camera,
You're in
okay?
a public place, ma'am, I'm sorry. If you don't like it, you can
Not
leave.
right.
I got a couple things to say. I want to first of all thank Kathy, Jean, and Lisa, and Travis for their work that they've done in this last year. It's been under really trying times and rather difficult conditions for you folks. And Travis, the water's free, for your information, at least on our end of town, which is about as far as you can get from the water tower. And for Kathy and Jean, thank you for your work that you've done, especially you, Kathy, for what you've been put through. Another example of that is Janelle's comments tonight, which I think were kind of uncalled for, but to be expected. And to what Patty was saying, I want to address the lack of response from the fire department and the Relief Association for the information requests that they've received and the total lack of response. And they should know, they're all up on the state statutes and what's required of them to respond to and how to do it, and they haven't done it. And the Relief Association is not private.
It is.
No, it's not. I found
It
that
is.
out. So, but I'll be getting more information on that, so. And they are required to comply when they have their Relief Association board meetings, the open meeting laws of the state. They need to be posted, the minutes have to be available, and other information has to be made available to the public at those meetings. So yeah, you can shake your head and smile and smirk, and that's fine with me, but that's okay. I don't expect anything less. And then the city's inaction at last month's meeting, there was a formal complaint filed against a couple of the members of the council. And the council chose not to take any action or seek any advice from the Department of Labor, to seek advice from the city attorney. And it's been my experience with labor that that is a huge mistake. Them complaints need to be addressed. One way, it has to be addressed and find out if there's any validity to those complaints or not. And that complaint has to be responded to the complaint. Otherwise, the city and the members that voted against it could be on the hook for, a lot of damages. I've seen over the years some huge damages come out of stuff like that. When you get the EEOC involved in the Department of Labor, a lot of stuff can happen with that stuff, and it's not usually comes out very good. And the council members that voted against doing that should not have been able to vote on that, because I know at least two of them were part of the complaint. So to me, that was a definite conflict of interest. And that should have not happened. Their vote should not have counted. And personally, I think the council needs to revisit that and get that investigation done as soon as possible so that the results come out one way or another. By total inaction and doing nothing, put some huge liability out there. And I don't want to see the city get hammered any more than they already have by people filing frivolous lawsuits. And Janelle made a comment last month when we were talking about the bids for the backup cameras for the city. She said that a citizen went out and got the bids, which was me. She didn't want to mention me by name, but that's okay. She knew it was me on a note. She was talking about me. But what I can't understand is why they didn't allow Comtech to put in a bid with the requirements that they did with all the others. And I don't know what the results of those bids are. Janelle has a personal problem with Comtech. That's her issue. It shouldn't be the city's, because the city has been doing business with Comtech for years and years and years. They've been our supplier for the radios. They take care of the warning system. They do all that for us. And they've been pretty good to us over the years. And speaking of the backup cameras, I understand we have a surveillance camera back in the fire hall again. And what I'd like to know is, when did the city authorize that? And who put it up? Who authorized it? And then to go back to the backup cameras, the bids, the reason why this citizen went out and got a bid on his own, because last spring, Janelle said that she was gonna get bids on it when she was giving back her surveillance cameras. At that time, she said she was gonna go get bids. Well, 6 months later, nothing was done. So I decided to kind of move the process along and kind of jab it along and get a response finally and get something done. And it seems it worked, because she's went out and got bids now. So it's only taken 6 months and a little prodding. That's all I got to say for right now.
I'd like to say something. There was a statement made about city ordinances and how they're responsible to carry those out. Actually, their responsibility is to support and defend the Constitution and to write ordinances that are in compliance with the Constitution. So you are incorrect. And I would like to ask you a question. Are the Relief Society elected officials?
No.
Okay, that's all I have.
Anyone else?
So I know there was some discussion at the last meeting about some identifiable safety issues, questions about that. And obviously the Department of Labor and Industry is the entity that regulates that. They have Minnesota OSHA is under them for workplace safety. And they recently, they fined Smithfield Meats $2 million because of workplace safety. So if you have genuine issues, rather than going around taking 8x10 glossy pictures and circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back describing exactly what the employees did wrong or claim the employees did wrong, maybe they should just be addressed. Whether it's by a council member and an employee or 2 council members, you can't have 3 quorum, you can't get into that. But a private entity, somebody like that can maybe address those issues, tag them, bag them, put them in a corner. At the next meeting, you can say, hey, we've identified this, this, and this. We got rid of that gas can. We took that to I-35 Auto. We got rid of this other stuff. I don't know what you're dealing with, but rather than go around trying to pin it on employees, maybe just deal with it. Try to be Andy Taylor to the future and present council members and mayor, rather than being Barney Fife barking out all these state statutes and stuff. That'd be me. Which accomplishes very, very little other than creates chaos and expense for the city. The second part is the light outside is a little bit offensive. I noticed Al has his shades pulled, and I'm pretty sure people driving by are getting some glare. It could be a safety issue for people walking across the street. The regular flagpole light would be a much better option. They have those available at Harbor Freight and other places. Or reducing the candle power to the existing light at the very least. I know Al's not here, but I'm sure he finds it offensive because he never had the shades pulled before.
David, I already actually ordered it. It just came here on Saturday. I let Shauna know that I had it, and we'll strap it on there.
I think it bothered him more than anybody, but I did talk to a few other people that they found offensive. At the intersection, they found it offensive. There was some individual language last meeting that was about going into closed session. I know you guys are already getting grilled about that, but thank you to the mayor for stopping that from happening at the last meeting. And thank you to those that have served your community well and had their best interest at heart. Because frankly, when you get right down to it, Spock said it really good on one Star Trek movie. He said, good of the many outweighs the benefit of the few, or the one. And to those of you who have served that way, thank you.
West thing?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You are? Yes. Yeah? Do you want to go now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want me to stand here, or do you want me to turn, like, address everybody?
You can stand right there.
Okay. Let me get my paperwork situated. I'm Elizabeth Mueller, and I'm from Dairyland Power Cooperative. I'm a right-of-way agent, and I'm here to talk about an upcoming project. Dairyland Power is going to be installing fiber optics on the existing transmission power line coming out of the substation here in town and heading east toward the Adams ITC substation. Our project's about 35 miles long. The existing static wire is going to be replaced with OPGW. I have a sample. This is the new static wire with 72 strands of fiber optics in it. The current static wire does not have fiber optics, and our current easements do not have communication rights or third-party rights. The old easements predate this technology. So the old easements don't mention communication rights. Our new easements talk about communication rights and third-party rights. The idea is that Dairyland Power someday in the future would sell fiber to a communications company to expand broadband to the people in the country. So that's the purpose of our project. The reason I'm here is because the land, I say it in front of the substation, but just north of the substation, there's a power pole on city property. And so I'm here to have a new easement signed with the updated language of communication rights with third parties. I don't know if you want me to go through all the paperwork I have in hand, or how you want to go about what I need. My paperwork consists of a new easement, an easement payment agreement. Dairyland Power is paying $200 as an administration fee just for the new paperwork. It's already an existing power line. There's no changes to the transmission line. No pole changes, nothing like that. Again, it's just this static wire. This static wire, I didn't mention, is to protect against lightning, and it will still protect against lightning. It does not conduct electricity. This is just for protection. But it will have fiber optics in it, and Dairyland Power will use the fiber optics to talk substation to substation. But again, possibly in the future we would sell it. Strands, not all 72, but some strands. So as a council, do we have questions for her?
Yeah.
Do we need to gather more information before we decide to go ahead? Do we need to, I hate to say it all the time, but do we need to get some legal advice before we sign an easement that has communication potential? So as a council, those are the things we want to ask and decide.
I guess I'm concerned that Dairyland Power has done the legal background on this. They would not bring it to a town or towns and asking for this easement without doing their due diligence on this. So I guess I don't have any questions. That is, why would there be a problem?
As far as the easement, payment agreement, so you get that changed over, and then do we, does the city have any other payments then that we would be allocated?
No, I would write a check to the city of Twin Lakes for $200. For us just signing the papers, Yes. or if they're filing, we need to do? No, we will, Dairyland Power will record the easement with the county.
we pay for that. It will be recorded, and if you, I can email you the recorded easement once we have it with the county.
Any further questions? If not, you make a motion to table it, to get more advice, or to go ahead and make a motion to sign the easement papers.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and sign it. Like he said, they wouldn't come asking if they didn't know the legal aspects of it.
From their side.
Caitlin just made a motion. Gina seconded. Any further discussion?
Just a question, so.
Yeah, of course.
Currently the pole is on, it's an easement right now.
Yeah, so actually I have a couple maps I would like to see. That will stay. This is the substation, there's a, and this is the.
No.
This is the parcel map. There's a power pole like right outside the substation. And it heads, we're gonna head east to Adams.
Okay, so you're basically just paying for that spot of it, you don't even know what
Right here.
how many fees it just costs.
I'd have to look at the map. It would stretch, it would be, the power pole comes out, it's 8 foot wide, so it'd be covering that power pole and 80 foot wide easement. Does that make, that's a good question though. I should do this. So the power pole is right outside here on the parcel. This is the parcel map of the association is. And again, easements are 80 feet wide. I don't know how many feet that is to the next parcel. That's what I'm getting. This is the parcel.
Do they know what that means?
So the project, good question.
I would
So
say
the
get more
project
info.
is gonna start, beginning of January. And, we're gonna, I think, pretty sure we're gonna start here in Twin Lakes. And then we're gonna, the project will head east to Adams. And so crews should be here in January. Unless that has changed, but as of right now, I think that's the construction schedule.
So they're burying the lines then, it'll be underground?
No, all over ground. It's, there's nothing changing. The static wire that's up there now, that's a top wire, is gonna have this on it. So the old wire will come out, this new wire will come in. No other changes.
Is this a perpetual easement?
Yes.
So it's
Runs
forever?
with the land. Yes, they all are.
And it's 80 feet wide?
It's 80 feet wide. That's how they all are. They're 80 feet wide. 80. It's a 69 kV transmission line. They're all 80 feet wide.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
When, like, well, she was assuming that you did all the research for the legalities of the city. But I'm just wondering, is that what you did? Did you do the research for the legalities of the city, or did you just do the research for the legalities of your company?
So it would be the legalities of Dairyland Power.
Right, so
There
it
is an
didn't, you
existing.
didn't do anything for the city, it's
There's
just
an
for your company.
right. There's an existing easement already from the 80s, I believe.
So it would probably do justice for the council to do their own research and their own
That's up to them.
investigation into their legal.
Sure, that's up to.
Right, so, okay, yeah, because they're not doing anything for you, they're doing everything for the company.
Sure.
Right.
So any more discussion?
What are you doing?
Well, that's hard. Like I said, you wanna go ahead and sign papers tonight.
Bear Trap has a
or
question.
table it,
Just
or get legal advice.
Bear Trap's trying to get her attention to his
Oh,
question.
sorry. Go ahead.
Now, you're talking about there's an existing wire up there right now, right?
Yep, yep.
And you're gonna take and take that wire down and put that wire up.
Yep, the very top wire. Yep,
Yeah,
yep. This is the static wire.
yeah.
And there already is a 80-foot permanent easement, correct?
Yes.
So all you're doing is swapping out the wire?
Oh, yeah, we are.
And all you're really doing is, you're not changing, you're just adding communications capability to the easement.
Yes, yes, sir.
Otherwise, it's nothing different.
No,
Except for that you can begin to start selling product. So it kind of seems like, why is the one that's there existing, why is that being removed?
It's not being removed per se.
Replaced, replaced.
Sure.
So it's just because it's old school, newer stuff?
Yeah.
Does the old stuff work?
Yeah, but it's not
There's
protected.
not fiber optics
It's
in
not
it.
protected from lightning and it's not fast.
He's a journalist.
He's still a citizen.
We gotta keep up with modern technology.
Yeah, so this is, so again, the old easements don't have this communication, the communication rights on them.
You're allowed.
So are we ready?
I'm still gonna make the motion that we
Still want to
should.
make a motion to go ahead with signing the papers we have. And, it's been seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That easement now.
Yeah, do you wanna do it right now, or do you want me to wait till the end of the meeting, or how do you wanna do it?
Then you can go.
We can do it right now.
Okay.
It is, but it gets
Yeah.
they're also spending millions of dollars.
But they should have been able to give some of that to us. They should have been able to give some of that money to us. Now you get 200 bucks instead of 200,000.
Millions of dollars.
This is why you table everything if you don't understand it fully.
Well,
Even easement's already there.
I understand that, but
All they're doing is adding communications to the east.
Well, right, but we should have been able to sell that.
it's
Yeah,
it's not.
we can't now.
It's not a it's just the easements are special animals. You can't just be done first.
Can't now, you just signed a contract
You know,
without getting any more information on it.
you can't, you know what? I can't. You can't be mad at everything.
Right.
I mean, you can't. When easements are a whole as we know from being in Ellendale.
But if you run for mayor, did you run for mayor?
Yeah, I lost my heart.
Next time. Next time.
I'm new to the town, I didn't know me. So the ones that do know me, they all voted for me.
We'll get you there next round. Without a doubt.
Unless if I go to the house.
You're welcome at my house anytime, just so you know. You almost.
Let's say that a local company wants to come in and sell wire for them. They can't because they have the right.
On that easement.
Right.
But that's why there's someone also coming to approach.
No, they were saying
80
for
feet
the
doesn't,
rest of it.
no, doesn't matter because there's somebody else approaching us city very soon about radio, internet, and I speaking without having to go out digging for out of transmission line. So there will be other options. Yeah.
Isn't Jaguar, they want to wear the whole town, don't they?
I don't know, I haven't heard that Jaguar has approached yet, have they?
No, not here, I mean, where they're up in Ellendale.
Yeah, Metronet, Jaguar, whatever they're going by.
Metronet. Internet is internet.
How long were they out last week? I heard 3 days. I had some nationwide problems for at least 24 hours. But I think we're gonna see more and more of that.
And said they could try.
Yeah, I don't think it's any US-based interruptions. But it's above my pay grade.
Where do you?
I got
It's not above my investigation.
No, I have enough on my plate. Well, you know, until January.
I feel like I'm like the princess in my house.
You know, we should give you the Twin Lakes Council public.
I should go over here. There's a lot of his helmet. I should go get it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Who did that?
Me and Jim. Only we didn't like it.
Yeah. Because that's a park, is that gonna be fixed as existing? If there's,
Fixed as existing.
if there's wheel damage or whatever, just curious.
Oh, if there's any damage, oh, yes, yes, we will fix it. Please, if during construction, call me, I will leave your business cards. We'll get to it. Would it drown if it's frozen? Yeah. Again, call me if you have any questions, concerns, issues, crews are out. Otherwise, you should see them starting in January. Okay, anything else for me? Thank you. Okay, thank you guys. Anyone else yet under that first public comment? It doesn't look like Nikki is here. No. Commissioner's office. I don't see Jeff here for the fire department report. Is there anything?
Yeah, I can give a report. Well, first of all, you did ask just that there was representation from the fire department, so that's why I give report. I am the secretary, so I do take all the notes at our meetings and things. We did have 9 firefighters at last month's meeting, and we did ladder carries and search and rescue. We had a great time doing it.
Anything else?
Yeah, actually, I guess I should probably ask about on the, your proposed things here, the paperwork here. I just noticed that on one of the sheets on 2023, it says actual and it says gambling. We didn't have gambling in 2023, so I just don't want to get the Relief Association in trouble for something.
No.
If that goes to state for anything, if somebody can clarify that for me after the meeting, I would be happy with that.
What is up under revenue, and I don't remember exactly. It might have been money at whenever year, hockey, yeah, whatever, who was doing it, wrestling or hockey, it might have been income from that.
Okay, so from like Pub 69 type thing.
10%
Okay,
of
okay.
whatever
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't end up in a sticky pickle
Nope.
over that one.
Nope.
Okay, and then I just happened to be going through some paperwork the other day, and I noticed that on our fire department expense sheet and things like that, it says other outside of fire department expense revenue, public safety aid money can be used for these things. I just want to remind you there was an actual vote to place this in the fire department's budget, or in their you said in the fire department earmarked for the fire department, but city account, yes. So, just wanted to remind you guys of that there actually was a bid.
I remember talking about it, but I just don't remember a vote that
I can look through the,
decided it was fire, because it could have been city, city stuff too.
no, there was an actual vote, but I will go back and get that for you guys so that you've got that proof, so. I think that's all I have for fire department. Oh, no, you wanted, the backup, you want me to wait? Backup cameras?
Yeah, it's later in the agenda, but let's
We
go
can
ahead
do
and do it now while you're talking.
Okay. I did get our quotes back. There's a few here. They didn't come until after our fire department meeting, so I'm sorry, I did tell you guys last month that they were coming and that we had all of them. We didn't have all of them, there was still one missing. So they have come now, I think we'll go through them next week with the fire department, talk about things, and then we'll approach in January with which one we would like to go with and which one would be second best, and we'll have all of that detailed so that you guys can make the best decision as to what you guys would want to allow.
And I'll tell you that the agendas right now, up to date, I've been doing those, so that the new mayor will have to decide what they wanna have for agenda, their agenda order, their, you know, if you want the clerk to start doing it, that'd be a change you'll have to make, starting with your January meeting. So you'll have this copy to go by if that's something you wanna do, or if you wanna look in the league's, recommendations for order and items. So just to give you the heads up.
We'll tell them later.
Okay, anything else for fire?
No, that's it, thank you.
Is there anything new on the task force?
We started the thing, we're getting all the, technically made out now, so we're gonna check all the stuff off on the truck.
Okay.
Again, we just started got it all together now, and maybe start to check everything off, and some mileage is down, and conditions of vehicles, and then we find problems and stuff. That can help out. We got everything, should start it next month.
Anything else? Water, wastewater report, Travis?
So I do have a few things. The lead detector was intermittently having an issue, so I sent it in to, get an estimate for repair. I got an estimate of $293.71. I just wanted to make sure everybody's okay with getting that repaired. Yeah, we definitely do, so, the new one is like thousands, so it makes sense to put that, so. I'll get that. And then, I found a sewer service with a storm tile hooked to it. We had JC from Morrison, dig it up and disconnect the, storm sewer or, tile line from the sanitary. I don't know that was the only issue, I'm not gonna say that, but it was definitely an issue, so, that's been repaired and it's hooked into an existing tile, so hopefully everything is fine that way. I think I mentioned that we're gonna get some chemicals soon at the water plant. I think I mentioned that last month, I just hadn't done that, so. And, I was still working with FEMA, but I was going to ask, it looks like what we're attempting to apply for is 75% of it being paid, from my understanding. And I know Dave, you'd said that Culver down there, Depot was gonna be 100% paid for. So, just wondering if you'd like me to discontinue with that on that issue and let that go through Shell Rock, if it's gonna get.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. He did talk that way that day, so.
Okay, so I should just discontinue trying for that?
Well,
I wouldn't
that's what Andy
discontinue.
said, so I'm kinda going with that. I don't know, is that something they would consider? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we're kind of trying for the same thing, other than there's two more things, there's a inlet on, the corner of, Mill and Main, but I was still gonna try for it, because that wouldn't be anything.
Right.
And then there was a little bit of road damage and ditch that needs to be cleaned out on River Street, so, but that part down there, like you said, if that's what I'm getting at, if that's going to get done, should I continue working forward with FEMA, or just discontinue that?
What he said that day was it should be repaired, it should be, because of the, you know, the way the drainage was and stuff, that should be replaced, and he thought that would go under the grant, you know.
Okay, but that's 100%, and this was 75.
That's what you're saying.
So, that's what I'm wondering.
If
about.
you
would say
dropped
verify it
your request
first.
And that fell through, then what?
Then you're paying for later.
I'm just going by what he said. That was his, you know.
Is there any chance you guys could contact Andy and talk to him and verify it first? I mean, that would make no sense to drop that and then go with that if you don't verify it.
Well, I can call him again, see what he says. I'll get ahold of him, see what he says. Or here we go.
It just seems like an ongoing thing with FEMA. It's just, there's always something, they're always asking for numbers.
Okay.
We may need to replace batteries on the tractor. I'm still trying to figure it out. They went down now they're staying charged, so I just kind of wanted everybody to know that we might have to replace them, so. Give you a heads up on that. And, I think that's actually all I had, I guess, just a mouse.
Lisa, clerk report?
Okay, so in your packets, I've got the bank sheets for me. That I did from the bank statements, the expense and revenue sheets, and in there for 3 months, I believe, September, October, and November. I worked on the budget as well as Kathy had looked it over and worked it over too. That was extremely time consuming and cumbersome. I haven't had any violation letters that were sent out in the last month. I've got 2 unpaid water bills at this time. The new computer finally got installed. I believe it was the 18th or 19th of this month. And other than that, I don't have anything further. We get into the, once we start learning the budget, if there's any questions, I'm sure myself or Kathy can answer any questions that you might have. But like I said, that's the extremely time-consuming task. I don't really have anything else unless anybody has any questions for me. Any questions?
Okay, old business. The cannabis regulations, 4 or 5 of us went to the informational meeting. You have some, do you have
No,
any-
there was 5 of us.
Yeah, there was 5 of us. Old mayor, new mayor, old council member, new council member, and Lisa. And they did a presentation and talked about the next steps, which are to, look at our zoning map and look at the zoning ordinance and designate where we want an establishment to be allowed. And in the ordinance also, if we want to have a special event, part to the ordinance was if there were like a 3-day or 4-day event, would it be allowed and where? There's some automatic things that are not allowed, like by school, by a park, by daycare. Otherwise you designate the zoning area. So we need to, in order to implement that, we need to have a public hearing. And again, it has to be published 10 days ahead of time. So as a council, we need to decide on a date for the public hearing, and at the public hearing, do we want our legal representatives that are doing this with us there to explain what's happening and answer questions? They've got a copy of our zoning map, they've got a copy of our ordinances, they've got recommended templates depending on, they're working with 9 cities, I think it's 9 or 6. And they've got everything recommended to just put right in place, just.
Maybe next month.
So if there's any other questions, the attorneys did offer to come to our meeting and explain and answer questions, but when that happens between council meetings, we don't always get a chance to discuss that and say, yes, we want them here, or no, we don't. So
Does this have
the
to be-
opportunity we do have is to, what happens is, if it's not in place by January 1st, if we table it, that there could be growers and retailers waiting to get in place.
And that could happen effective January first. And if we don't have something in place, something could happen that we might not want to happen if we don't have it in place. So, you know, you could decide to have this meeting. I threw a date out there of December 16th. We could be ready for the meeting by then. Or you could table it, or you could decide to have a different date, and you could decide to have the attorneys there at the hearing to explain and answer the questions, or you could decide to have them not, and then decide which council person is going to be running the show and answering questions. So those are the things that we need to decide tonight.
Aren't we being charged $188 for the lawyers to do this?
Per hour for the Justin, I think his name. Yeah, that's per hour.
Jason
of their
Hill.
time.
But the 9 are splitting, right?
Well, I believe the informational meeting and getting some of the paperwork is being split, but when it comes down to each city doing their, you know, doing the amendment, I don't, that part doesn't make sense to me to be split.
We have to pay them $188 an hour to come here.
No, it's more than that. That $188 was for that meeting.
The nine.
Pardon?
The 9 pounds that they're
Yeah,
doing.
they all put in $188.
Yeah,
So whatever our lawyer fees charges an hour, he charges.
that's more than 188.
Right.
Yeah,
But then,
so
are you
that-
gonna get a question that we don't know the answer to either?
Yeah.
You know, that Jason Hill was the guy that gave, he really knew everything there was to know about it.
He did, and I would, by listening to him, I would recommend that he's at the public hearing to answer questions.
And
So
he
it
knows
would
all
go
that.
faster and people would be more satisfied.
If he would come, do we know that he would come? I
No,
can't
we
remember if
don't,
he's.
we don't know for sure that if we decide on December 16th, that that's when he can come. I know from going to that one informational meeting, I'm not prepared to stand up and answer questions and say this is what it is and why we're doing it. And there's retailers, there's growers, there's,
Dispensaries,
yeah, there's laws in place, and like the state and the county have those laws that they have to adhere to. On certain items, they can register with the county or the state and not have to even notify the city. And if the county sees that we have, you know, the zoning where it can be, if they choose our city and want to land there, that happens. And the state might not be ready on January 1st, but the law is ready to go on January 1st. So it's just how much do you want to get yourself protected and know what you don't know.
I just, because they were asking me, and then what day or evening, because he lives in Whiteside, is that, where's Whiteside? I think yeah, willing to come down to that court.
and ask him how much he charged.
And, right, and then we have to,
Part of that now, if we don't decide right here and now, we don't have another meeting until January, and we have all this, because in between conversation, because we're not making the decisions here, it gets really difficult.
I've been between conversations, it's
And it has to be made before January 1.
If you want it in place, if you wanted a public hearing, a special city meeting with a vote, it's published in the paper,
whether it's this little guy or Bentley here that would get some representation here.
I'd say Hill.
Like Kathy says. This is,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know what we're gonna have for a public meeting if there's anybody here to ask questions.
Madam Mayor, if I could just offer up too, you guys really do need to consider getting this done because there are groups out there that watch which cities didn't do this and they will move in overnight. They'll be they're already plotting and planning
They'll be
and they're
here
just.
January 2nd.
Yep, if
Breaking ground.
you don't have this done,
yeah, and our next meeting is until January 6th.
That's right.
My recommendation is to go ahead with the meeting December 16th, and my recommendation is to have the group of attorneys that we're working with be present at our meeting.
Well, we don't need the whole group.
No, but I mean, somebody from the, you know, it's Matt Binda and Ashley that were here, and then Jason that we're working with.
That Jason Hale is the only one that should be here, because he knows everything there is about it.
Pay one, not three. Pay one, not three, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Hill.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, how about we
This
pick
guy-
the 16th at 7, and if that doesn't work, what's our alternative?
yeah.
Up and down, sideways.
Yeah.
He was, and you,
Well, yeah, we wouldn't.
you couldn't ask him a question, he could answer.
Oh, wow, that sounds good. Yeah, I think they should try and get him.
That's really 5 years.
We'll start with Monday the 16th.
Okay.
He said, I didn't want to do it, he's supposed to be in doing these things.
Somebody want to make that an official motion?
Cannabis man.
I will let find out if that guy
Yes.
is come. And how much he charges. Like, there is a group.
Yeah, and regardless, it's going to be, but it'll be part of what we want to know.
Yep.
Right.
Gotta get done.
Okay, so there's been a motion. Motion's been made, and further, well, first I'll try and read back what it's supposed to be. Motion's been made and seconded to have a public hearing and special meeting on Monday, December 16th for the cannabis regulation zoning ordinance updates and ask that Jason Hill be present.
The time?
7 p.m.
On or about.
On or about. And then, yeah, 16th is available. Okay, any further discussion? If not, that motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, the second item on there, on our old business is water problems. I could not remember if I was ready to take that off, or if we were waiting for some additional information, or if we're satisfied with Mike and all.
Oh, I got a question. Where's the water report? I asked for that last time. You got it? From the state.
The only thing I got, Dave, was the form stating there's no bacteria.
Where's that form?
Is it?
I'd like to see it. You got it. You got it?
Yeah, of course I do.
Go get it.
Can I see it?
I keep everything.
Go get it.
I wanna see it. Whatever you get.
Stand.
Well, he said he sent it to you too, so
Okay, well, he didn't, so can you stand
Got
up
it?
and go get it?
That's all I'm asking.
just to make sure, you said you did not get a report and did not
I did not get a report, and he said he sent it to the city, so that's.
Stand
I
up
wanna
and
see
get it.
He said he sent it to the city.
That's what he told me, so I thought.
So when you didn't talk to him, he told you that he sent it to the city.
Then it came to the city, that was it. Sandy said the water was fine, so she stood up there and said the water was fine, so I don't know where she got her information from, so where did it go? There's no report.
Go get the report.
Sandy said that the water's fine.
Sandy stood up in a water tower and told everybody the water's fine.
She said it here
That's
too.
She said it here.
Well, it always has been, it's always within every standard.
I don't know, I'm
Can you go get the report?
telling you what she said, so who's got it?
Oh, I
Okay, so if we have a
bathed in it, I
copy,
drink it,
if we have a
and I
copy,
think
if
it
we
was
get it
fine.
to you, then should we take this off of there?
That's
Or you want to
fine.
wait until?
Can I see a copy of it?
No, we,
I drink the water. Can I see a copy of it?
Maybe my,
Don't have to do it before, so you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do a public data request just to get it if it's something that you're willing to show.
Right, that's all I want.
No, I realize.
Can you go get it?
I mean, aluminum,
Andy, or is he fine, or is it something we can post? Is it postable? You know, does council know?
Do you happen to know? Do you know if the water report's postable?
Yes, it is public data, and it was requested at the last meeting by him, and it is on an audio tape that he asked for it. It's on an audio tape that he said he had it, and he asked for it a second time, so.
Okay, because I
Yes.
thought the discussion
Is it
and the
not
question
possible to go
was
get
that
it?
we were told that Dave got the call and the same paperwork.
And Dave said then, on record, that he did not get it, and it is public.
Okay,
I'll get it if I
I'm
need
not
to.
here to argue
Yeah.
on it. I'm just saying, you told me you never talked to him, but now he's,
He's asked 3 times for it in 2 months.
It took a long time.
Took a long time to get
oh,
hold of
it's,
it.
Yeah.
okay.
Can you go get it so that I can see it?
If we have a copy that you didn't
make sure that a copy is handed out.
I have one more thing about the water.
Okay.
He sent me the report.
Not even
You remember that, right? 59 pages, right? Of course, I printed it out. I had a question. I looked at it, very interesting reading, all the pictures they took and stuff. The question I got, Travis, is, what date is on that?
I can't see.
I recognize that, 2020.
2020. Okay, now, I read the whole thing. It said in 5 to 7 years, it's gonna be pretty much junk. Correct?
I don't know that you.
You wanna read it? You want me to read it to everybody?
I didn't interpret it that way either.
You didn't read it?
It does
I did
say
read it, I read it
And
at
it
the
says that
time.
it's gonna cost $235,000 to get it up and running, right? I mean,
It
up-
could.
Okay.
Back in 2000.
Done in 5, 7 years. Now it's up to 5 years, pretty much at the point of no return. Why? Why is nothing been done to this water tower? Did somebody tell me that?
It's slated to be inspected in 5 years and that's next.
No,
year.
it says it's to be repaired. It's leaking now, Travis.
What's leaking to?
Does that say that in there?
It says it right
It
in
says right
there.
in there, it's got leaks.
Did you read it?
I guess I don't know where there's any leaks in the home.
Yeah, the gentleman from that company came to our council meeting and described the inspection and what he found, and it's something to think about. They can't know when a replacement's gonna be needed or how fast it will go bad, but it's out there in the future.
You should say that out loud.
And you won't know until you have continual inspections, and if the next inspection comes up, what's it gonna say? Is it gonna say the same thing that in the next 5 years you might? So I had counsel at that time, it was.
What kind of scares me?
Can I see
It
the
was
water
wait and see
report?
when the
Whenever,
next
you know, you're walking out on it, you know it had to be fixed.
Right, and
Why did it not get fixed?
from what I heard, you could wait 5 years and find out
You wait
another
20 years.
inspection, and it could be another 5 years, and not all of those things would be needed.
Okay.
I think when you read through there, you can see this.
Do you remember?
Inspection
Yeah.
in 5 years was the recommendation. It's something may need to be done in 5 to 7
Can we
years.
go get
Was
the
a
water
recommendation. It doesn't mean that that's absolutely has to happen. So in my opinion, I think at the 5-year mark, when this next coming year is, when it's cleaned and inspected, we'll have a better idea of what needs to be done.
Does it need to be painted? Paint's falling off inside.
Man, you are just doom and gloom. I don't see.
It's not doom and gloom, the report is.
I mean, it was okay, is what I read. I mean, okay, it's.
And sometimes they do spot painting, you know, and don't do the whole thing inside and out, and I remember that it would be out of service for 4 weeks, I kinda remember that. And a new paint, requirement was going into effect where the paint was gonna be more expensive.
That was in 2020.
What is it now?
I don't know if that was built in there at that time, I just remember him talking about it. Yeah, it is, it's a huge expense. And
Very
you
good.
kinda,
That's why it was just, I don't know why it wasn't, part of it was done, nothing done. Nothing done.
You tried to
5
get a
years.
grant?
And now it's gonna be, what, another 5?
mostly because it was wait and see.
Wait and see.
No, that's a bad
All I
idea.
can count is then wait and see.
You gotta do things before it needs to be done.
Huh?
You gotta do things before it needs to be done, then you gotta do it again.
It's called
Right?
maintenance.
I mean, why would you wait until it needs to be done?
Wait till it's broke? No, maintenance.
Nobody said wait till it's broke, I said wait till it needs to be done. We're gonna find out now this next year what needs to be done.
It needs to be done.
That's gonna be what, $400? $300?
I don't have the answer to that, but I'm sure it won't be less.
I just wanna know.
Right, and I think the wait and see by that, I mean, is we're just not gonna run out and spend $235,000
We're gonna wait 4
Is
more
there a
years.
grant?
and spend
next year.
400,000.
You know, what it might not be for 5 years down the road, but it should be there should be a capital projects improvement plan.
Is there?
Is there a grant by any chance?
And there could be many good grants by then.
Yeah.
And typically, when you look at grants for that, it's not gonna pay for the whole thing, so then the city would have a remainder, and typically when you take a grant for anything that has to do with water or sewer,
then they will dictate your water and sewer rates. That's just some of the little things that I know.
I'm gonna interrupt and give you a little background on that. Glenville just put in 2 new wells and a new filtering system in their city. And I think they just got done with the wells. They're still building on the filtering system. The building isn't complete yet and it's not all hooked up. That project cost $6 million. Glenville's share was $2 million. And they didn't have any water meters individually in their residences. So part of the mandate for getting the grant is everybody has to have a water meter, and you're being charged your sewer rates can be based on your water usage. That's how they're gonna figure your sewer. And their rates are going up, it's crazy what the rates are going up to. And they wanted to know if they could pay their $2 million share off early. They're not allowed to do that. They have to keep paying the payments for the 20-year lifespan of the, let's put it, the financing that is arranged by the state. And the reason they do that is these companies that put up the money for that, that's how they make their money. So the cities aren't allowed to pay it off early. But everybody will be put on a water meter, and their sewer and water rates will be based on their water usage.
Is it the same as like prepayment penalty? So they can't actually prepay it, but they have to pay all of the interest that would have accrued through that period?
No, they're not even allowed to prepay
at all.
At all.
Thank you for that information, Pat, and I don't wanna segue into.
Yeah, but it just gives people background on it.
Yeah, that's very good to know.
It's tough, you know.
Yeah, I believe an
terribly
engineer is required at that time, and things can definitely change year to year, but yes, it's in the background as a possibility down the future, as with infrastructure in general. It's not gonna last forever, and you need to know what's coming.
Do you have a list of contaminants that are tested for? Sir?
Travis.
Do you have a list?
Open meeting again? Okay. What?
Do you have a
Wow, that's kind of
Do you have a
insubordination.
list of contaminants that you test for?
Every year, yes. You can check with the state, and I'm sure they can give it to you. Everything is tested for, everything's in compliance. For a while, we had a high growth sulfur, which we're actually not right now, which is good. Which just kind of seems to go up and down. The only way to get rid of that is to put out filter plants, so.
So they test for barium,
Yeah, all
strontium.
red counts, yeah.
Yeah, Department of Health and,
Well, I'm just wondering, because in Amboy, they don't test for those things?
the state
at all.
dictates
Maybe
which
not.
ones they test for at each.
No, when they come, I mean, they give us a list of everything. They don't test for strontium, they don't test for barium, they don't test for graphene or any of the things that are being sprayed upon us.
Oh, maybe when there never has been anything, maybe they don't need to. Does that make sense?
But, I mean, these trails have been for decades, so they're definitely in our soils. It's gotten all the way to the tops of Mount Fuji, so it is
Okay,
completely
I think we're getting
saturated
off
our
track
entire.
again. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that if a person's aware, they could wonder and look and see if their particular city's being tested for that.
Right, because ours isn't.
Okay. Then I think we're on to number 3, and I think, did we talk about that? I think the cover and cleanup. So then, we're on to the backup camera, and I believe from that, when we talked about the fire, that's tabled till next Wednesday. So then we'll move into the data practices policy. So I'll have Lisa run back and make some copies of, there's three different things, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. If you wanna make a couple copies, and then give the copy to, each, you might as well make, if these guys did bring theirs, you might as well make 1, 2.
Did you guys bring them? Yeah, I never even got it.
Make several copies, please and thank you. And the items that are there are, there's a draft resolution adopting the policy and procedure for public access. The
documents and an information disclosure request form. Those are the 3 documents that we need to look at and review those 3 documents. And then, on the League of Minnesota Cities, there's an online course that's costs $15 and it's 60 minutes and it's divided into 3 segments, 25-minute segment and a 15-minute segment and a 20-minute segment about data practices. And at our last council meeting, we all voted and motioned and accepted. I could look in here, but it was for city council, old and new, and I believe for city employees. Everybody needs to take that course. I attempted to take the course today and I locked myself out with my password, so, and I had to wait 20 minutes and I didn't have 20 minutes to wait, so I will admit that I didn't.
I'm gonna take it tomorrow.
Yeah. I wanted to at least get through the first 25 minutes of it, and it sounds like once you pay for it, that you have access to it indefinitely. So it's not like, I believe.
Who's paying for it?
I really don't want to go too far, just a little bit.
Travis, do you have that report somewhere that you could show us?
I'll go back to your report.
Did you get it for us? Is it handy?
Everything. I guess I don't know exactly what we test for. Is that the question?
Oh my God, stand up.
I don't know if it's,
They just want that report.
No, I mean the report from the state or wherever you are.
So on that data practices policy, without having it in front of me, I don't remember, but we have to decide who our responsible person is. I don't know that it's, I think that most of the time it is the clerk, but we have to actually designate. Because it's new and unfamiliar to us, the data request that we do, I guess that's next, so.
Fix my
Okay,
pen.
yeah, don't jump ahead of myself.
I broke my pen, I fixed my pen.
It's been overwhelming, all this information and taking it in and.
I wonder where's this all
Doesn't
now.
have to be capital K. I also automatically start out writing capital. So you're over 35 years.
That's quite a while.
Over 5 million miles.
Really? Give the 5 million mile accident free or? No. Did you get $1 million accident free or $1 million mile?
And 900,000 miles.
And if you, with this data practice, you'll also see or hear, the initials or the letters MGDPA. So if you see that, that's data practice. It's Minnesota Data Practices Act. MGDPA. As a public entity, the MGDPA applies to the city. The MGDPA controls how government entities collect, create, maintain, use, and distribute data. And what we asked the attorney to help us with was assist with handling the distribution of government data. Please note that MGDPA is complicated. Reach out if you need assistance. For each data request, the city must determine on the characterization of the data as public, non-public, private, protected, non-public, or confidential. Classification determines what data must be produced. Additionally, it should be noted that the city cannot require a requester to provide their name or reason for the data
responded to in an appropriate and prompt manner with no specific timeline, except in the case of a data request by the person who is the subject of the data. In those cases, the data must be provided within 10 days. And a great source available is the League of Minnesota Cities. It's a cost-effective way to educate the city and comply with the requirements. Just more about the course. Require more detailed knowledge of the Data Practices Act and its impact on city government. There's 3 lessons. Data Practices Basics and Classification is the first. Data Practices Procedures and Responsibilities is the second. And Data Practices Rights and Penalties is the third. By completing the course, you'll not only understand what constitutes government data, but be prepared to take action as the responsible authority when a data request is received. The first 25 minutes on the Data Practices Basics and Classification, you learn the different data classifications and their impact on local government. The second part of the course is procedures and responsibilities, review the requirements of the act and be able to take action when data is requested. And the third part is rights and penalties, explore the primary areas of interest for data requests, including email, personal data, law enforcement, understand the penalties of not complying, and be prepared to effectively apply the laws to your city. And it says the purchase is not transferable between individuals and the courses do not expire.
Yes. Willing to share? Yeah, we can share one. Thank you.
So there's three pieces to this. The first one is 2 pages, the second one is 1 page, and the third item is 2 pages. The first thing that we're looking at is called the Policy for Public Access to Data and Procedure for Review of City Documents. Public access to the data of public bodies is governed by, do you want me to read all this? Do you want to read it to yourselves? It lists the section and subdivision. It says all requests to inspect or receive copies must be in writing and delivered or sent by U.S. mail to the city's address there. And so the city clerk shall be responsible authority for collection, use, and dissemination of the government data. Requests to inspect or obtain copies are the city may ask or require that individuals make contact information to process the request. The individual need not provide a reason for the data request. In the event the individual wishes to inspect data, the city will gather the documents, separating the documents to be withheld, and see to it that someone is available to assist with the inspection. City files may not be removed from its office. And it says the city will follow the NJDPA response time will vary depending on the complexity, the availability, and other obligations. Requests made by the city top data subject, the city provides an initial response within 10 days. If the city determines that the data will not be made available, it will inform the individual on the basis for denial. The rest of the city will certify in writing that the request has been denied and state the basis for denial. There's no cost to expect documents. If less than 100 pages of document copies are requested, the requesting individual will be charged 25 cents per page for ordinary sized documents. And this is what's in the recommended draft, and this is what we talked about to add to our fees and charges ordinance. With respect to oversized copies, tapes, data, photographs, slides, and other large things, the individual will be responsible for the actual cost incurred to make the copy itself. Individual requesting more than 100 pages, responsible to pay the city the actual cost, including staff time, search, retrieve, make, certify, compile, transmit, not including the cost to separate public from non-public data. If requested, the city will advise approximate cost before making, payment may be made by cash or check. The city may require payment in advance. The city may charge a fee for data that has commercial value and was developed with a significant expenditure by the city. The city may also require a license agreement limiting the use of said data. So that's the first piece of it. It's the policy for public access to data and procedure for review of city documents. Now, if we have any questions on this, the attorneys are, willing to answer our questions and talk with us. Otherwise, this is what we have and to go by, and we either adopt and approve this resolution.
Do it.
Or we vote, or we table it or want to get more information. So that's the first piece of it. If you want to do all three pieces together or do them one at a time, we'll look at the second piece of it. The second piece is the resolution where we adopt it. Yeah. This is their draft. This is the attorney draft to us. It says whereas the city desires to adopt, whereas Minnesota statutes requires that the city appoint one person as the responsible authority to administer the requirements. Now therefore be resolved, the city adopts a policy and procedure, and the city appoints the city clerk as the responsible authority for the purpose of meeting all the requirements of law, passed and adopted. And then the last two pages are the information, the disclosure request form. That when somebody does request, I believe it said here in our policy that we want the request to come in writing, delivered and sent by U.S. mail to the city, and then I haven't, like I said, if I took the online course, I might know better, but I'm guessing you acknowledge that you got it, and you send them a form to fill out, and then wait for the form to come back. I think it's, there might be a debate whether if the letter comes in writing, if that's good enough to respond to and go from there, or that you request this form to be, disclosure request form to be filled out. I'm an office.
Never done this.
Not that we could find. I cannot find, I'm not saying that there may be once upon a time was, but as things changed hands, we either didn't know about it or there never was. I don't know how long it's been that.
2013.
When?
2013.
Okay, so I was gonna say, we've had, rest in peace, Joel, our last mayor we had for 16 years. And then and I've been now at 4, and I can tell you there was a lot of things I wanted to implement that I couldn't find. And we definitely got segued with a lot of other things these last few years. I think we should require a disclosure request form.
Well, if it's been that long, yeah.
A paperwork office person that every new data request that comes in writing, and that a request form is filled out. We do know from what it said, they don't have to give their name, but they'll have to give us, if they want it given to them back in mailing, they gotta, give us that. So, these are the drafts. So, what is your discussion? Because we don't have them in place, I recommend we get them put in place.
I have some input that you might want to at least go back to your attorney with before you make a decision on this. That's statutorily backed, and I know you hate that, but that's where you get your facts from. It is not required to be in writing whatsoever by the letter of the law. You could sit right here and say, I'm issuing a data request at a meeting, and that does suffice. And you're right, they don't have to give their name or their address, and they don't have to fill out your form. I'm not saying it isn't advisable, because it's a nice, easy, smooth flow, but they don't have to. For example, my data request, as you know, quotes a lot of the statutes and warnings in it so that people know that they do have a time frame that they have to answer it by and what the civil penalties are if it's not done in accordance with the law. There's a lot that's missing in here as far as from my perspective, and I'm not a city council member. When I do a data request, that's why I don't use their form, is it doesn't specify enough, in my opinion, to the state law where I'm exercising my rights and protections as the data requester. So there's quite a bit in here that's missing, and I'm glad you clarified the cost thing, because the only cost that the statute allows you to charge is the 25 cents per copy. And if a person wants to come in and view the data and inspect it, they are allowed to photograph or videotape without having to pay that fee, because there's no cost of you copying it. So there is a few things in here that are, some are actually against what the state law says. Some of them are a little too vague, and that's where you get into problems. Your resolution's also a little bit deficient, because yes, you have to give a responsible authority, but you also have to designate a responsible party that is part of the enforcement of, and it's not normally the same person. So you have a checks and balances, you have a second person that's making sure you're doing it correctly so that you don't get in trouble with it. The other vagueness is reasonable time, and that's not your fault, that's the way the legislature wrote it, because who gets to determine reasonable time are usually in front of a judge before that gets determined. So that's just some input to help you, and I will tell you that that's the data practice law. So to compress it into 3 pages plus a form is pretty tough, and I understand that. But the data practice law is several hundred pages. Or I should say well over that.
And it makes sense to me. I mean, I hear what you're saying about it not have to be in writing, but it makes sense to me for being an office person and paperwork that you could have that he said, she said, I saw you ask for that data. Well, if you're not familiar with the data practice request, you might not even understand that that's an official request for something.
And that's why I'm glad you guys are doing the training. That's exactly what I asked for, so.
But I'm uncomfortable with, getting this from the attorney and then hearing that it's not correct, that it has to be in writing.
Well, that's why I'm telling you to bring it back to the attorney and have a discussion. I'm not saying trust my word.
Right.
I will say it wouldn't be the first time that attorney drew up an illegal, or that attorney's office drew up an illegal document that I happen to know of. I mean, you know of that too. We had that discussion a while back. So I'm just saying it wouldn't be out of line to say that he may have made a mistake.
So the difficult part of this is if we want to table it and get more, and how to put in words or articulate what we've heard and request, you know, I'm sure we can get a lot more complicated document. And part of the trouble of, you know, is that's fine to get that information and table it and look at it again at the January 6th meeting. And that's just gonna carry us into our next item, is that we have another data request on the out there right now that we need to retime with. I am no municipal legal expert at all and don't claim to be, and it's difficult when you read all this stuff out there. Yeah, well, and a little surprised too, because I don't know, you know, the definition of a resolution and an ordinance. I thought ordinance makes it legal, you know, but. So.
Go back to the lawyer then and have him.
Do you, and who? What do you want to say to the lawyer? What do we say to the lawyer? What do we?
If it would help you, I'd be happy to email what I said to you and quote the statute in it, so Matt obviously has the law book and can look that up and decide if that's a good piece to put in there or not for you. I'm free.
Probably a good idea.
I'm free.
Yeah.
And I believe because of the second one-page item, the resolution, without the other pieces, I don't believe we can, without having all three, I don't believe we can do anything.
And the other concern you might run into, Kathy, is just the fact that you don't have set regular office hours here for your clerk.
Yes, yeah.
And that is going to be an issue if people say public data is supposed to be available upon request and especially inspection.
Couple of things that we're working on there, which doesn't make it okay or not, is that if they send an email, that we have an automatic reply that says there's no set hours, you know, somebody could respond to you in the next 3 to 7 days, you know, and the same kind of message on the phone, you know. The message on the phone, I was more thinking, because I didn't know the in-person by voice thing, is that the message on the phone would say, send your request in writing to Post Office Box 428 and allow so much time for a response. Those would be my recommendations. So are we stuck?
That's a good idea.
The table, till the, find out, get that wording,
Table.
and then, table it and the new
Until
council
January
to pass it. I don't know if we have to make a motion to table it, but just, we'll put it in the notes that we're tabling it, but, so then I'll move right into that next item on the agenda, is the data request that we currently have from Lions News. And we've all seen that because he got a group email with all of our email addresses, including the attorney. And he's changed his request.
Now what did you want?
He added an item. There's 3 items and now he's added a 4th item. And this, just so we know, this is the particular gentleman that when we had our Zoom court hearing, that he logged on and would not turn his camera on. And because of that one person, the whole procedure got delayed to an in-person court room. And that's a little frustrating, and you wouldn't think one person can do that.
For all of us.
And,
So do you guys, can I just clarify, you know that that's not Terry Nimmers, right? You guys know that?
well, just this week, I had like, you know, that exact voice and those exact statements are exactly the same, and is Terry Dean Nemmers, Lions News, the same as Aaron Lane,
I've never seen that person ever in my life.
Never even heard of him until
No,
this.
I didn't even know anything about it.
But he called me. I wonder that because of a lot of the statements and the talking.
I said my name is Aaron Lane and I
I know
ran for
you did.
mayor of
I know you
Amboy.
did. I know you did.
And if you look up Apollon on anywhere online, it has my face.
And Terry
And
did
my
turn
name.
his camera on during that hearing.
Yes.
So, we don't look at him.
You don't look like him.
No, he doesn't like that.
No.
No, I didn't like that.
No.
I just, you know.
I just wanted to make sure that you guys were now clear that that is not Terry Nimmers.
I first thought that, and I looked up Terry Nemmers and, you know, saw some of his videos and that kind of stuff.
You gotta talk to
See,
him
and
on
I
the
don't
phone.
associate
So
with
I'm
him and I
very,
don't.
just some of the language was very similar. That's all.
Constitutional.
You might want to check with Kurt Freitag about Terry Nimmers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kurt
he-
Freitag actually
He
went
offered
to people
attachments
and
to what, some
yeah.
things that he's already done. So my
Claims to have done.
recommendation, especially
Yeah.
because this is new, we're getting this passed, some of the language that he already used, and he, on the 13th, he sent an email at 4 o'clock, then he left a voicemail at the hall, then the next day at 10 in the morning, he left another email, and then Tanner responded to him, and then he sent us another email that day. Then the attorney on the 18th just said we're in receipt of your request. That's all he said, because he copied the attorneys on there. And then he sent us another email later that day, and then he sent another email on the 27th requesting additional item, like 4, because he had requested 3, then he requested 4. And we've all been copied on all of these emails. And the rapid response like that is to get a response from us. You know, that's the purpose of it. And just in this case, I'm just gonna say, I recommend that, you know, it's more time and more money, people don't wanna spend it. I recommend the lawyer,
If you guys,
attorney replies to this guy.
if you contact, and you should probably tell Matt Benda this, to contact Kurt Freitag, the former sheriff.
Yeah.
He's had quite a bit of dealings with Terry Nimmers, as has every sheriff, every prosecutor, every attorney in half the state. He has been psychologically committed. He has been convicted of felonies, not you, Terry Nimmers.
No, I get that, but I don't,
I
that's
know.
associated with me.
I know.
And
Your
that's
voice does sound
slandered
very
my
similar
name.
to his.
I'm sorry, I
It
would
really doesn't.
greatly appreciate a publicly written online, so everyone can see it, that he made a mistake and he names me wrong. Like, I would,
Well, Matt Benda's not the one that named you.
who was it?
I started wondering, the voice was the same.
Okay, well then I would
No, I
request
apologize to you, 100%.
and be put in the paper with
Yeah.
what your mistake was and why you're apologizing.
and whoever wrote the meeting minutes.
The minutes?
Yeah, the minutes actually state that Terry Nimmers was here and said these things.
It does?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Yep.
So I would
It's right here.
appreciate that the record is corrected, and I would like to see it in the
You know, I
paper.
think at the time, nobody remembered your name, so, you know, there's no.
That's not my
I know,
problem.
I know.
I would still like a
Yeah.
public apology from you, written in the paper.
In the paper?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely,
Person to
absolutely.
person isn't good enough?
No, ma'am. No, because this goes out and it's seen around the world.
Right, I'm apologizing.
But the people that are here, they don't watch my
So when you
podcast, so
publish
I
it
would
in the
like the
paper,
people here to
Where do
see
you
that too.
publish it? Where does it, you just say publish this in
Rumble.
the paper? In what?
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I didn't let you
What
finish.
section? What, is that a classified? What is that?
My Rumble page?
No,
Oh, your
the
Rumble
apology,
The apology, no,
The
it just,
apology.
and what's the local paper here?
just a public notice.
Public notice.
There you go. That'd be great. I greatly appreciate
Well,
it.
if it was in our minutes wrong, it should have been addressed at the time, I guess. If it's in these minutes here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, then we should amend those minutes then, because
I know what it said. Did you guys know that?
Okay. Okay. Alright.
Anyway, yeah, as far as Terry and Lisa, this is for you, and I mean this with genuine heart, okay? He is dangerous,
Oh, I know.
and Kurt Freitag came to a location that I was at to warn myself and other people involved that he was doing the same type of behavior with 4 years ago. I'd never met him or seen him either, but this is his thing, and this is what he does, and we were told at the time, including politicians, that if he did ever show up, it was a 911 call before there was a problem, because he's got some issues.
And he could really help Twin Lakes.
Yeah. And I actually
It really
verified that
helped
with
the council.
some other people that were
I
there,
blocked him on
just
my
that he
phone.
is
I said, I
dangerous
want
and that
him.
Kurt did go to them. So I verified it with other people that were at that same rally.
So those public civil complaint hearings, anybody can log on that wants to, and then you ruin their whole thing.
Yeah, don't think I was happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Matt thought maybe he set this up with his buddy Terry, but
Okay,
can't
so,
stand the guy.
so are we, let's have a motion that we want to have our attorney reply to. And I think what he'll say to begin with is, well, we're gonna get a little grief because it was on our agenda and we're not doing anything. Cause that would have been or been the response that it was on our agenda and we implemented it. And we've agreed now to wait, so we don't have another council meeting in January. So that's what we'll have our attorney let him know.
Just what is his information request?
It's for your public data policy and who's administrating it, right?
It's, original chapter 13 data request, email or file share me the following readily available free electronic public data. It's a government entity obligation, subdivision 1, subdivision 2, subdivision 3. Every year in August, we're supposed to have a form, like our name, address, and a list of forms, maybe. I honestly haven't learned it all yet. And then what he added was, he's requesting the gross salary, history of sustained complaints, and work-related continuing education from the date of first hire until today's date for Lisa. That's the fourth item he's adding.
Why did he go after Lisa?
Hmm?
Why did he go after Lisa
Because
specifically?
statutorily, if you don't have a named authority, it falls back on the city clerk. That's what
Oh.
he's going after.
And he's used inflammatory language in
Oh, yeah.
the emails to us.
Yeah.
So,
He's nuts.
Public Safety Director Carlson's also very familiar with him, so if you have ties to Albert Lee, more than Kurt Freitag, since Kurt's retired, but Director Carlson from Albert Lee Public Safety is very familiar with
And I
him.
think that's the name, he sent us, he attached a bunch of copies of
How
filings he's
successful he
already
is.
made
Yeah.
against those.
And complaints against judges.
He's crazy, just,
And,
yeah.
when on the web, when I did the stuff I found was older. You know, it was older.
Yeah, because he's been kicked off a few platforms, so he has different. But one of his websites is Arrest a Judge Kit, because he literally tried to arrest his judge in a traffic case from the bench. It's just,
So do you want to have a motion to, have the attorney proceed on with this particular matter request, please?
We'll make a motion. Gotta answer, we gotta get back to him, and we don't have anything in writing from him, so I make a motion that we have a lawyer. Respond.
and I do know there's action, just so you have further information, and I know this isn't public. The whole reason that happened is I got told he was going to be on that Zoom call about 2 hours beforehand, and he has a history of recording them and then putting them on his webpage, and he did this in the past that I'm aware of, so I did communicate with the judge. So this wasn't a setup thing of me participating in something, it was, no, I'm not gonna allow that to happen for the sake of everybody. No, he's from Glenwood up by Alexandria, and he doesn't even drive. His mom has to drive him everywhere, and he's 60 years old.
He's not coming here.
He's not coming down.
So, Jean made a motion to have the attorney, be the communicator in this particular case with Lion News. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion about that before we vote? Motion's been made and seconded to have our attorney's office, be the communicator to Lions News regarding his data request. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, simple item next. I hope it's simple. We never know. Several years ago, we decided to go with mail-in balloting, and we just have to have an annual resolution every year that is what we want, and we want to continue with that. And the reason that we went to that quite a few years ago was what it takes to set it up, get judges, get them educated, feed them, be here from 7 in the morning to 8 at night. And then the clerk physically runs the papers up to the courthouse, and there's a lot of involvement in it. We didn't have a lot of people that could do it, but had the time to do it and could do it. So we went to mail-in balloting. We've been doing it a long time, as far as I know, there's been no problems. I think a few people in the last few years, when it came up as a whole big country issue, started wondering about it, but we've never had a problem that's known, and I'm gonna recommend that we continue to do mail-in balloting, but that's up
I think
up
you
to
get more
council to
people
decide.
voting. For mail-in ballots? Yeah.
Well, you can still do a campaign to get people to register to vote. And we did this year, I think we went up from 76 to 81. So,
Make a resolution to continue with the agreement with the Seymour County Auditor Treasurer's ballots.
okay, Jean made a motion to continue with the mail-in balloting.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion on that with council? Okay, motion's been made and seconded to continue mail-in balloting. All in favor? Against? Motion passed. Okay, let's look at fees and charges. There's a copy in the packet, should be, of ordinance.
Looks like it.
2022-001, adopting fees and charges. Let's just quickly go through them. Item 1 is the community hall rental, 50 for residents, 100 for others. When we get to one that we want to change, just holler at me to stop. Are you right? There's a packet, in our packet, there's a page that looks like this. It's got 1 through 12 on it. Do you guys have it? Was it in your copies? We have a couple set of copies, I don't know if we got it all. Oh, yeah, right here. Ordinance. Number 1 is about the hall rental. If we wanted to change the hall rental rate, we'll do that now. Number 2 is the return check fee, if we wanted to change that. Number 3 is the utility late fee, if we ever want to change that. This is if we change it on this ordinance and publish it. Number 4 is water and sewer hookup fee. Number 5 is water and sewer reconnect fee. So sometimes if we're wondering, what is our fee for that? It's been so long we haven't charged somebody. It's in we have this sheet in our ordinances. And when you, at a council meeting, discuss to make a change, you likewise need to remember to have this ordinance published. Number 6, construction authorization form, fire pit, recreational fire pit, burning, use the park shelter, softball field, any of those kind of things have no fee. Number 7. I don't think there's a copy to this, but basically number 7 and 8 on counselor's pay. It's kind of vague. I think it's vague, because every year, I said in the work study, every year when we get down calculating how to pay for those, we always have these questions about what to include and not include. There used to be, I think it used to be that you got paid for all 12 meetings, even if you weren't in attendance for all of them. Like the rule or the requirement was you didn't start minusing until you missed 3. You know, so, and my particular the thing for that is this, I'll read again kind of what I wrote, that it should be per attended meeting, per attended regular meeting, special meeting, and closed meeting. If special meetings and closed meetings are held on the same date, before, during, or after the regular meeting, there's no additional meeting pay. And that additional compensation is not paid for attending attorney meetings, court dates, project meetings, special events, education online or in person, or anything where the entire council does not take part together as an official city meeting. So there aren't any questions about that. It's a closed meeting, same night as regular meeting, there's no additional pay. If it's a whole separate complete night, then there is pay. And then number 8 is same with council members. It's almost the exact same wording, except added, the last sentence is the council member acting as mayor pro tem should receive an additional $15 for each meeting they conduct in the mayor's absence, as they're being the mayor for that particular time. So if we wanted this new wording put in this ordinance, we vote on it, we pass it, the whole new ordinance would be written, and then it would be published in the paper, and it'd be the new fees. Then our ordinances go on, number 9, basically our request of ordinance variance. I guess that doesn't say, but I'm thinking that's building, mostly building. Shall require a $25 payment at the time of application and refunded if the variance isn't approved. Number 10 is if when the city mows a residential property to abate for grass and weed, that there's a fee, there's billed a fee, an hourly fee with 1 hour minimum. And then number 11, the water and sewer is billed quarterly. And this has the 2022 rates on here, and then effective, and so that we didn't have to do this every single year just to raise water and sewer, we built in that effective each new year, the invoice prepared in April for quarter 1 will include an annual increase of $2.50 per quarter for water and $2.50 per quarter for sewer. And the quarter 3 invoice includes the additional annual water fee as billed to the city by the Minnesota Department of Health. So that's what's in effect for water and sewer increases. If you ever want to establish a different rate and a different increase, then you have to change number 11. Right now, you just automatically increase by this amount. And then number 12 is our annual liquor license fees. So, do we want to change any of those? And do we want to change the wording for the mayor and council pay, or do you want to increase them, or have them different, or?
Well, since we're doing an amendment, which I think we should amend
Oh,
number 7
and the
and 8.
25-cent copies.
The data, 25-cent copy data.
Yeah, so we'd add number 13 to be the 25 cent for data practice.
But we also want to put in there wordage that if it's over 100
Yeah, so,
pages, it would be at the clerk's salary.
yeah, however it's written
Right.
in that,
Yeah. In that, yeah.
So, what do you want to do?
Do we want to put in there about when we've had other contractors that are in the area that require water?
I thought that was on here, and it's not, and like Lisa thinks it's somewhere else, but that's why I wondered if I had the most up-to-date one, because I remember reading it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because if we had it for the first 4,000 gallons or something was this price, and then after that, we have it written somewhere.
I think it's,
Yeah.
$100 for $4,000.
seen it,
Where
I've
we-
seen it.
where we might have it written.
You've been somewhere, we've seen it.
But like I said, there might have been one of these that's updated, and I might not be looking at the most latest one.
Excuse me,
Break.
It must not have been in.
Kathy? Sorry to interrupt. Can somebody just bump the heater on for a little bit? Like our fingers are,
Did it?
our fingers are cold.
Hope doesn't help my fingers, but
Yeah.
smart ass in the back.
Yeah. Well, then you just raise your hands like this.
So do we want to add a number 14 on it? Approve it, we'll say that number 14 is the water thing. And then Lisa will find that.
And word it for,
Yeah.
water use for contracted,
And, you know,
businesses out here, something like that.
so
Yeah, 'cause Travis, I think you're right, I think the first 4,000, yep, and then you wanna bump it from 250 to 450.
That's up to you guys, but I would suggest that.
For first, how many thousand?
4,000 more, $100 for 4,000.
Yes, but
And then
what they, do you know what they consider? Look. Fire state aid.
Well, it's,
They say it is, because it comes into the city
so
and
we
then
don't
they
we
write
want
a
to add
check back
number
to us.
13 and number 14? Do we
They
want
don't
to change
know how
number
to do
7
this.
and number 8? That's to be more specific.
She says, yes, this is.
Well, I don't
But
think
you
we
can
increase
take a
the,
copy of it.
We
You
have
write all over
increased
it.
the amount, and if we have to do it at the end of a term before the new term comes in, they can't do that, they can change any of it except their mayor and council pay. When they get the new council and new mayor can't change their pay.
Correct.
Right.
oh, okay.
So the mayor and council piece of it, we have to do in December before our term ends.
But I think that's the storage in there, but going forward, the mayor is
Raise the pay.
determine what is paid and who's paid and how, you know, I think that wording I think should be put in there or something to that effect, you know, on that
And I'll
exact.
say, I don't think they're
So
getting
then you're
enough.
not wondering. And that's,
I know we go through it every time when we're calculating it.
yeah, that's just,
Well, I think they both should be raised.
They haven't, I think in my notes from last year, they have not been raised since 2018.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
I think that we
Either
decided that.
2013 or 2018, but I think
That,
Yep, that
you
one
know,
will be
we're
fine.
raising people's rates, you know, for taxes, and we're raising the water rates, and like, you know.
Why can't we
Why
raise it?
Why should we even
That's
stay
part of
involved
this
in?
discussion, so
Why do we
throw a
not
number
vote?
out there.
That was for the illegal.
Well, I think, I myself, I
That was
would
for
think
the illegal
maybe
paperwork.
$100, and the council member should get $75, $80,
Yeah.
at least 75.
Is it a $15 difference? When somebody's acting as the
Yeah.
mayor, so it's a
Yeah,
15,
that's
I would
what
keep
we
that
put
15.
Yeah, so that's
another
Question.
Yeah, if they're both, like, if the council was raised to 75 or 80, and if the mayor were 100, then that'd be, we should say additional to.
Right.
pro temp,
Yeah.
pro temp. So you should maybe have a 15.
So I'm just gonna say that if they've been at 75 or 60 for a lot of years, I think to 80 and 100 are an awful big jump. Typically on this council, for this town anyway, we've seen smaller jumps. That's, you know, if you look at what's 75 up to 100, that's a pretty big percent.
That's only 20.
I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but that's what I'm just saying.
For what we went through in the last 2 years, it should be double.
I've had a lot of people say that to me. What you get for council pay does
I know,
not.
but we're doing it as a service also to our community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we're trying to keep the rates down, showing that we're raising our rates, you know, for us to be here, was the same. So,
What are you gonna give
I
the
don't,
community?
we haven't had a raise for.
Yeah, yeah, and just how much and how big to go right on the road. And lots of cities do it a lot of different ways. Some cities do like a base amount, they call it, they describe it differently. It's a base amount that you get spread over, you know, every 2 weeks or every month, you know, and it doesn't say anything about regardless if you attend or not.
We're doing it as.
I'm gonna counter against your 180, and I would raise the mayor from 75 to 85. And I'd raise the council from 60 to 70. Not cheap. Huh?
That sounds pretty fair, yeah.
85 for the mayor and 70.
And then it's, by doing it each 10 like that, the additional 15 during pro temp stays 50.
That's the spot.
We gotta make a
It's under.
motion for that.
Yeah,
Fire
so
department
I
expense. Why is it a fire
I would do all three of them. I would ask for a motion to, increase item 7 and 8, increase the mayor to 85, increase council to 70.
change the wording, add the description, and add number 13 for data copies, and add number 14 for water, selling water to outside vendors.
I'll make a motion, Rob.
Okay. Okay?
So
That's our donation.
over again.
I wish I knew how to,
It's mine, it's over
function.
here.
Do we have a second?
It's 556 or 555.
Well, then that's what did we have? Fire department do?
Any more discussion, or any of the other items on there that we want to change or look at? If not, then there's been a motion, made and seconded to, change the description. Item 7, increase to 85, and change the description for 8, increase to 70.
Right.
And number 13, data copies, and number 14, water usage. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. COLA, cost of living adjustment. There's a page in the packet that shows the history of what we've been doing. And typically, we look at Social Security, they put out a COLA. And it's based on the third quarter inflation, it takes effect next January. And, typically Twin Lakes was really good about giving 3 to 4%, even when there was no Social Security or small Social Security. So that's the history. And then, then we had 2 big years where inflation was really big, and, we didn't equal that. And now it's 2.5, is what Social Security's doing. Again, we're doing for next year. Yeah, and, even though they're elected officials, we know, like, we've heard the sheriff, it was in the paper, the sheriff's asking for 8, the county attorney's asking for 9%. The city of Albert Lee did 28% over 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's, So, we need to decide. I feel a little bad, we, those big years of inflation that we didn't keep up and didn't, you know, because giving that increase 5 or 6 years before that doesn't help down the road when there was that inflation and. So, let's have a discussion about that. Nobody wants to say, nobody wants to give anybody too little of a raise or too big of a raise. So I'm gonna, I didn't realize it either till I reviewed it and saw that when it was 5.9, we only gave 4, and when it was 8.7, we only gave 6. That hadn't stuck in my mind, so until I looked it up and read it, and that, honestly, that made me feel bad. Because the 4% last year, when it was 3.2 for inflation, didn't really make up for it, so. And then when I hear others are doing 6 and 8 and 9, I feel we should do something good size, like, I'm not for 8 or 9, but like 6 or 7. But, you know, counter me or you lay there, have the discussion and counteract me.
Not 3.2%.
This is
It's like 25 or 30.
This is costing, I'm thinking more like 5, okay?
And a little bit more than last year.
Yeah. Thank goodness that inflation started, going down, started going back down.
It hasn't. Those numbers, they're not making use of, just like when the crime, they were using the data from the actual cities that had all the crime.
Yes, you could say that the social security's cost of living numbers that they put together
They're false.
aren't actually reflective of what it's actually costing people to live on.
Right.
You can't, there's a good point to that. So consider that also.
That 5 is closer to that 35.
The city council has to
protect
themselves.
So my 6 to 7 was too high, so Linda's throwing out 5.
Well, it does not say compensatory damages. It was for and was not guilty of.
Well, you don't get to vote, but you maybe can talk.
Go ahead.
You just don't get to vote.
I just said eventually just get 15% for council, so. Yeah, you wear that one.
That's why $10 doesn't seem like, but yeah, percentage wise. We did that one other year with something else, like we looked back at the percent and oh gosh.
You got a raise every year. Yeah.
Jesus.
How many years did I get a raise?
Technically,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Technically, I have never got a raise the entire 5.5 years I've been here, but I'm just gonna pull it.
Technically a raise.
Yeah, COLA.
Cost of living adjustment.
Welcome to Mayo Clinic.
Great.
Okay, so we've got 5 and we've got 6 to 7 for July twice.
You get a cost of living.
And not that I can do anything about next year, but it's one of those things that I recommend to keep up with and not wait 5 years to make a change on any of those
Good thing I
contracts.
didn't
Because
know.
when we do that, it just seems crazy.
Yeah, because if you did it every year, you guys would be making closer to what I believe you guys should make. But it's hard to make something. I like that thought process. It's hard to adjust that large.
So I don't know if we've got any additional discussion on it, or if somebody
Motion's been made. Okay, Dave made a motion for 6. I can vote. I don't know if I can, second. I think I can motion in second.
Can't do motion in second. No.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded for 6%. Any other, discussion on that? Okay, motion's been made for 6% cost of living adjustment. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Final budget. There's a whole bunch of paper on budget. That's probably my fault because I'm the numbers person, so I like to look at things many different ways for comparison. This sheet, there's this sheet with the numbers going across. And that shows the 2024 proposed budget from September, and then the 2024 final budget that was decided on in December. And then in September in 2025, we proposed column there, and then there's a final column with, that we changed a little bit, proposing the numbers for the final for 2025. On some of there's a sheet like this that shows the fire department alone. There's a couple other sheets like this and this that compare. One shows 2021 final budget and 2021 actual dollars, and then 2022 final budget and 2022 actual expenses, and 23 final budget and then its actual expenses, revenue and expenses both. Down below, it lists the big items that were not normal in that year. So if you're looking at that year with a higher low, like here we paid $5,000 on getting the driver feedback stuff. Or the $12,000 was spent in 2022 for, with the COVID project, the sewer riprap, or the hydrant that was damaged. And then $12,000 that was spent in 23 for water main break. Those kind of things are shown there. On this one. This one shows just the actuals for 21, 22, 23, and then 24 to date. And then that compares to the 137,000, 750,000 that was budgeted. Like for 2024, we're estimating spending. On paper, it looks like we're spending 200,000, but 80,000 of that was money that we received to go back out with no impact. So the spending really would have been 123,000. And this one with all of the small numbers you can't see, just so it shows actuals by month.
Kathy,
Yeah,
can I ask a question?
yeah,
You know we're gonna have a water main break this year, right?
yeah.
Is that budgeted in there?
Well, no, not really.
God forbid we don't.
Because when I'm there and they say, well, how about paying me for this water main break? I say, well, we don't have any money right now.
Right.
So I think you should budget like $5,000 in there, just in case we have a water main. If we don't have one, we'll save it for next year.
Right.
Better put more than that, way beyond holiday.
We haven't gotten really detailed like that, and I'm gonna recommend that to you especially, that you have in November, before the December meeting, start having budget meetings and look at this stuff in more detail, because mostly we just look at a grand total, and
You know, I
And
talked,
so,
I
doing
talked
now?
to Joe one time, I think they had like
Yeah.
and he said, I don't know where the money's gonna come from. I mean, he was having
Right.
a conniption about it, and I think we ought to plan on having at least one in the budget.
And what, a weird thing about water and sewer, water main break goes against water expenses.
Yeah.
And we've got a certain amount of revenue coming in for water. Expenses on a budget have to be that exact number. So, and if our expenses aren't hitting that, we've actually got that cushion in there. Does that make sense?
It's definitely needed.
And the same with sewer.
And how come the water main break seems to be in the same place every year?
He does a Band-Aid every year.
Right beside the bank.
Just a little, yeah, a little off, but yeah, same place.
I mean, it's just, it's right there. Is there any way to fix that so that's well insulated or something?
It's just hot soil there, just corrodes it through the pipe.
It's, I,
We talked about that before, and we were told, because it keeps ending up in Jeff's yard, we were told that, no, we just keep putting a Band-Aid over it.
Well, you can call it a Band-Aid, it's a main break patch, but
I didn't call it a Band-Aid, you did. You called it a Band-Aid.
pretty soon it'll all be stainless steel, I guess. But
Well, it would, I mean, I think that you should budget to actually replace it, instead of ending up with it all in Jeff's yard, and that's his problem now.
We had a,
I mean, budget
kind
for
of
it.
like a wish list once upon a time, and then, certain things to accomplish in the next 5 years. And then look at grants and that kind of stuff for them, and that's exactly the kind of thing that, that would be good to do.
Yeah.
are there grants available for something like that?
All of those things, there's grants out there all the time,
would
and
it
it
be
takes
that
a
kind
lot
of
of
thing?
work
Yeah,
to look
okay.
for them and qualify for them.
I
That's
saw
all very
today,
good to know, I didn't know
there's a
that.
place in Owatonna that specializes in grants.
So as
Yeah,
a
I
council,
agree.
you would decide that and pursue that, and come up with your dream projects and go with that. So I'm gonna digress back, and when I compared the estimate of how 2024 is gonna end up, when I compared that to what we spent in previous years, minus off, I hate in the budget when you have money that coming in and it goes out, and it makes your expenses look higher. So, we had 3 areas that our costs went up substantially from previous years. Clerk, fire, and legal. Those are the 3 categories that increased quite a bit. I know, I didn't look at the exact hours, but in Jesse and Lisa's hours, they went way up with a lot of stuff that's been going on. That's required a lot more time in the office looking up. And then fire, that's why I made that special sheet for fire. It just shows what was spent, and, we are over budget. Going by an $8,000 budget, it's over by $6,000, $5,000.
We're actually not over budget, that was like, because the other people didn't maintain stuff. And then you guys
And the
voted
year
to bring it up to
before,
safe
was
and legal.
9,000, so it was actually 1,000 over also.
But you guys voted to bring it to safe and legal. So I mean, it's not by our fault.
I'll say yes and no, because several times we asked what it would take, and I believe what we were told that it would take was minimized. And then when the actual numbers are coming in, it's bigger. I'm not saying it was fault, I'm just saying it was projected that it would get safe and running within a certain amount, and then it took more. And all I'm saying too is, does that need to be increased over 4,000?
Yep, but we didn't know that there was lack of maintenance either.
Well, for whatever the reason, our 8,000 was over last year, was over by 1,000, over by more this year. I think it's really unfortunate to get $7,000 worth of grant money, and then the expenses that we had, only 1,700 of the items purchased used that grant money. So what the grant money was for, that stuff wasn't, like I think the, cameras will be, but it was unfortunate to go to that hard work to get that money, and then that it couldn't go on some things that we'd already had. But, so what I'm saying, if you look at those numbers, legal fees last year were 12,000, and I know we haven't agreed on it yet, but legal fees this year are 20,000 with the newest bill. So out there in the future, we put a $6,000 budget back on that. So time will only tell when you put those budget numbers out there. So the final budget is, that is always based on the numbers I put together, is 138.
That's true.
100.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying you should say.
Okay, and I'll explain on this big sheet.
Kathy, just one last thing. The public safety money that you guys already voted to put towards the fire department, why don't you put that in there and then it's a zero cost? You know?
Well, from what I understand, that there's only certain things that money can be used for.
For the public safety?
Yeah, just like your other grants. So,
You're supposed to tell us that, you know, this money is coming out of the
yeah, so far I only
donated or grant money.
yeah, so
That was,
I mean, it says equipment costs.
in the public safety description.
Yeah. So I mean, you could use that public safety money to wipe that to a zero.
No, well, your no, it doesn't work like that. You gotta look at the actual item that was bought. And it either qualifies or it doesn't. And then that 6,000 pot, that is
There's a
still
lot
in
to
there,
do.
reserved in checking.
So that would.
You know, like that would
Yeah.
cover memberships, that would cover, you know, whatever it might be.
Right.
All of the
Right.
items you bought from utility, whatever it is.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, we could go through the budget here and quite a bit of it would qualify for it.
It's over 8,000 right there.
I mean, there's your learning. That's in here.
And that would just change the numbers around on the page. It just wouldn't be that's not reserved in checking anymore.
No, but it also makes the fire department not over budget because those things are specifically.
Right, so
Yeah.
if you go through your items and you find items that we can say.
Absolutely.
That money was used for. And again, I didn't remember that we said, I believe you stood up and said it was coming, and there might have been a presumption that the fire department was it, because it also could have gone for streets or some other city.
No, that's public works.
No, I can't.
This was public safety.
Okay,
Public works would be streets and things like that.
right.
This one was a public safety grant money. So, but yeah, we'll definitely go through line by line and use that public safety money for
On this sheet like this,
wiping that out.
where it says 23,000 for the fire department, I have a question on that, because what I did was take the 8,000 budget plus 15,000 that would come to us for state aid on the revenue side, that we would in turn have to write a check for out to the state. Is that gonna still happen? Will those checks still come to the city to be signed over?
That I don't know.
So, but that's the
I
15
definitely need to
there.
look
So
into
the
that.
8 and the 15 is just because the 15's in revenue and comes out again on the
Yeah.
other side.
Because that, in my understanding, the state gives it directly to PERA and it doesn't run through the city
That'd be
anymore.
great.
But I definitely will look into that because that's a great question.
Okay, so if we look at that, the $138,100, let's skim through that. And what that I'll also tell you the next step is, if you look at the top on revenue, where we estimate all this revenue coming in, we don't have $138,100 to take in if we determine our
$10,000, the other is $29,800, and there's a $10,000 there under other, that is when, as a council, you'd have to decide to, cash a CD, get it into your general checking. If any of these expenses. If a huge repair comes in too. That's how that all works. So you've got some actuals, like mayor and council, you can look at the actual 21, 22, 23, what the numbers were, what the number for 2024 was, 4,000, 4,000, 4,700, 4,700, so the estimate's 5,000 on that. That's the little process you go through. So the biggest thing that we, that 6,000 for legal.
You spent what on legal this year?
And, on that back, on the other sheet where it shows your 21, 22, 23 actuals, you can kind of see there that, the revenue on those, your actuals, the revenue doesn't match your expense. It's not a budget portion, spreadsheet where you're forcing the numbers to come out. You might have more revenue than expense or less. So any questions? It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of, I don't know if I can answer any questions that can help you decide. And kind of the process is you might look at if you look at your expenses are gonna be extremely high, and then you kind of go backwards to where this is the levy. We're doing this 5% levy, 4% levy. That's where you might step back and say, we need a 15% levy. And then you have a public meeting and, grin and bear it with the public on why you need to, then you pay more taxes. So typically we just look at this sheet and kind of look at them and just say yes or no, change them if you want to change them, and then vote on it. And we do, it gets put somewhere. I don't know if it's a state auditor. There's a form I know you go in January and key it into a form.
Yes.
Yes. So, if there's no questions, I'll have somebody make a motion.
You do.
Any further discussion or any questions? And of course, it'll be a wonderful thing if we were doing it next year that you came in under or over and saw where they were and then go from there. Any discussion? Okay, 2025 budget of $138,100. Accept that as the budget. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Final levy. So one of these, the same sheet that had the COLA on it, had the levy numbers on it, what our history has been. And how that works is you kind of go through the process to see how much money you need. And this is what we've done in different years. In September, you name a
a preliminary number, percent. And in December, you cannot have more than that, you can have that or less when you're deciding on your final, you just can't go over. So in September, our preliminary percent was 5%. And as you can see, the increase from 11,400 to 12,000, that's how we get that much more in taxes during the year by doing 5%.
I make the motion for the 2025 levy to stay at 5%.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? The 2025 final levy, motion made to be 5%, all in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Yeah, just, there's a form, once our final levy, we'll go to the, Lisa fills it out and it goes into the county auditor. With the 5%, and that 5%. So I don't see. Okay, now, I'm kind of surprised annually that there's a newspaper and bank, and the attorney that we don't also do, our auditor or CPA. But, we have a letter here from Phil Bendis, Govan Burnell, and it's, they annually like to send a letter and confirm the understanding of terms in our engagement and the nature of limitation of the services we are providing. So they gotta, they tell about themselves and how they comply. And based on agreed upon procedures, because of the agreed upon procedures do not constitute an examination or review, will not express an opinion or conclusion on the city's financial accounts. In addition, we have no obligation to perform any procedures beyond those to which we agree. So this is, and then it says what we're gonna do for us. That's a couple pages. And then we sign that we're understanding the agreement with the CPA.
But that don't have to be decided until January, right?
Well, and they estimate their fees won't be no more than $3,000, and then yes, then it needs to be signed. And, I think they've been doing an okay job for us, and we can decide tonight, or we can table it.
Well, I can make a comment on that, because we used to have another guy over by Easter doing stuff. And, he retired, and, I think he sold, or whatever his practice was, to a firm out of Mankato. And we called around to check to see who'd handle this, because not all accounting places would use city stuff. And they're the only ones that did it, so, they're locally here, instead of having to drive to Mankato, and that's just more time and money for whoever's gotta run it and stuff, so I think we should just sign it up, we wanna wait on it, I mean, it's not, like,
The taxes at the end of the year.
yeah. So I don't know why, like I said, it's not one that we have to vote on annually, like our attorneys and banks and stuff. I just think that we should sign it and send it back to them.
They just send a letter of understanding every year. But this is, like they don't do, yeah. That they have no obligation to perform procedures beyond those to which we agree.
That'd be the only thing I would say is, if anybody wanted to look at what they are doing for us, and if we need more or less.
You know,
We really only do it like once a year. It's for,
annual stuff, and that's, yeah, and there's a pension, that's, other than that, that's all they do. Yeah, like the W-2s from employees that you said, and then all the other stuff is. And then they send that information to the state as well for us, and, I mean, there's any other times.
I mean, for Patriot City.
yeah, so we can do it now, or we can, leave it?
Let's table that for later.
There are, yeah, what, the scope of what they do. Well, right now,
We just use a spreadsheet for that, that'd be something for council to consider, that maybe an actual software should be used for that.
So, table it till January, then,
What information would you want to have in there between now and then, or like put a copy of it in the packet?
or understand what they're doing. Yeah,
I don't know, maybe.
well, and that's just it, if you decide for what they do, you know, it covers this, this, and this, and then if you want this, this, and this done, you might want more done, and then decide on a different. Other items, any other new business?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up something that I brought up before. I brought it up last month. And this is based on my personal and professional interactions with Keith Haskell. I think that the council should, take away that trespassing. Because after watching the video and everything, there was nothing scary or bad about it. He's never been nasty. And I think we should just, I wanna make a motion to take that away. So he's not trespassing. To rescind it. There was no reason to trespass him like that and send it to the sheriff and all that. That's crazy.
Yeah, when I see, I didn't see anything that was threatening.
You gonna second my motion?
Yeah, I'll say it.
The city did not put that on him, right? I
Yeah,
understand that the city.
It came from the city because of the situation, and
How Lisa felt.
Finley is called for the golf ball.
well, just for discussion, I'm gonna say I'm on Lisa's side for it, and
There can't be a discussion, she called for the vote.
oh,
No
okay,
more discussion.
okay,
We have to vote.
okay. A motion's been made and seconded to rescind the,
Trespass.
trespass order against Keith Haskell. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
two against one.
2 against 2.
No,
I
you
know.
don't
You
get
don't
to
get
vote
to
unless
vote
there's a
unless
tie.
there's a tie.
You know that.
You know
You're
that.
only a tiebreaker.
You know that.
Okay.
You're only
Then
a
Beth-
tiebreaker.
then Beth said, no, I'd forgotten that. I thought I got to vote on everything no matter what.
That's fair enough. There's a lot to
That's
keep
I
track of.
normally don't speak up unless there's a tie. Okay.
Question then, can Lisa go to the county and get that reinstated as an individual?
Restraining
That I
order.
don't
That's a
know.
question I have.
Yeah.
She can try, but I'd request a hearing that way.
But it's not you. Well, yeah,
Yeah, it
it is
is
you,
me.
that's right, it is you, I forgot.
Yeah. Which personally I don't understand because I stood here the day after that meeting, right here and said, I have no conflict with you and I treat you with respect. And she sat right here and said yes, so. And I think that everybody can grow and move on from that. That's my opinion. I know that I'm passionate about what I talk about and I know that not everybody loves it. But if you look at that video, there is nothing in there that's aggressive or threatening.
We have another, so I'm moving on to complaints, other new business.
Did we decide to amend the minutes for the guest speaker?
I got it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, 'cause that was just last week, right?
Yeah.
And they have received a letter before, it's been, probably been a couple of years, it's a whole lot of different people.
a couple of
on
months.
this now, so they might not have passed, the warrant might not have passed down.
Same owner.
But I just thought maybe hearing a letter.
We only have access requirements. Pass them on their bill. I don't think they got their letter the first time, so,
I just thought it's gonna be an issue when plumbing happens.
yeah. Well, I think.
Who left for fiber optic?
Okay.
Anybody wants to know what's going on?
Should we send them an official letter? The same as before?
Then they'll clean it up. And 6 months from now, they do the same thing again.
That's what
Yeah.
we deal with all the
And the
time.
other ones, the previous ones, they, you know, you wouldn't, I don't think you'd see something more than a week if they had something out
Or
there.
did they sell it?
I don't, it's just different
Same
people
owners.
running it. I mean, it's different people that I see, some younger people.
Depending on your ordinances, some cities have a clause in there that if it's the same complaint, even if it's a different vehicle, if it's the same complaint X amount of times, it's a repeat violation. And that helps you a little bit, gives you a little bit more teeth.
Well, if we're veering off here and talking about sending letters to people with ordinance or violations, is it Otterson guy up here on the corner there?
Yeah.
He's got a vehicle sitting right there that doesn't have current tabs on it that can be seen from the road and weeds, so. There needs to be a letter to them.
Yeah, typically I don't know if he's gotten one before, but typically we start with just a reminder, this is the
Gas
ordinance.
station, the old gas station's nasty.
You said it doesn't have contacts.
And,
And I know Al at one time told me he was working on this.
Yes, you
I know, he had like a couple more things and then his file would be ready to go. Under complaints, we've got a complaint here.
oh, if you're gonna go to a complaint, then I need,
Are we
I-
past other new business? We
Well,
still
we're-
have something?
well, we gotta amend the minutes from this last board meeting to take Terry Nemmer's
Mhm.
name in there and insert it like
Yeah,
Aaron's
yes.
name.
Mhm.
I wanna make
Needs to
sure
be
that's on
official.
there.
Yeah,
to add to.
and apology in the paper, amend the minutes
Yep.
from me.
Okay, sorry, that's all I had.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, past other new business, down to complaints. Got a complaint here,
against the property owners of 125 West Main. It's cluttered, very unbecoming, must be corrected, and the ordinance enforced.
Is that complaint signed?
You bet it is, and I did it. I'll admit it. I sign it.
That's okay.
I own it.
It's public, and if I complain, then you have the right to know that too.
And if anybody drives by there and says that it isn't junky, has got blinders on or can't see.
That's an opinion.
Oh,
Tanner.
I don't know. If you're objective about it, you can't miss it.
Can't be, the city council.
Can't be 125.
125 West Main. Okay, we'll move on to the final guest public comment time.
I noticed in your packet that you did get for everybody, there's a state statute about indemnification in here. Can I ask what that's in reference to? Because it doesn't really say anything and nobody talked about it.
No, when we get to pay in the bills, that's the only time it's gonna come in, when we're talking about legal fees again. That's why that's in the package.
Okay, good, because I'd like to address that then as part of my public comment. The state statute does not say that the city has to indemnify all employees against compensatory damages, so please realize that that's not included in there. And that in my lawsuit, and just for public sakes, for comment, in my lawsuit, a judge has already decided that it is not frivolous, and that is in writing in her first order. So I know the comment of frivolous lawsuits was thrown out. It wasn't directed at me, but if it was, there's already a judge ruling that mine is not frivolous and has merit. And then the second part of the indemnification under subdivision 1, paragraph 2 is, was not guilty of malfeasance in office or willful neglect of duty or bad faith. And I would just like to clarify that those are allegations that I did make in the lawsuit and have made from this podium about malfeasance and misfeasance, which would not indemnify or make the city council have to pay for the legal fees or protect individuals that may be, because the judge has not decided, guilty of malfeasance in office, willful neglect of duty, or bad faith. So I'd just like to clarify that. And the other part I just kind of smoothed over, but as I said, when I filed this lawsuit, it was reviewed by a judge before it could be moved forward, and they did already rule that it is not a frivolous lawsuit and has merit. With that, believe it or not, I think that's the shortest time I've ever spoke publicly in Twin Lakes.
Anyone else?
That's it. Oh, and I did forget something. I'm sorry. Gotta answer another one of your questions. Who created the fire department Facebook page has been a question for what, a year? Plus, over a year? It was me.
Well, why didn't you stand up and say that before? Why
I'm
didn't
saying
you
it right
say
now,
that?
but I wanna say the whole thing. With city council and Kathy's express permission, that's why I'm saying it right now, because I sat right there at that table to make that Facebook page, and Kathy came in several times as I was making it to check on the progress. I didn't know it was as big of an issue that everybody was saying they didn't know. Now Kathy called me, gosh, I don't know, 8 months ago, 7, about did I make it? Well, I wasn't the only one that made it. When she did call me, I told her that I was no longer the administrator of it, which is a factual truth. If you look at the Facebook page, I don't think anybody is running it or has changed it or done anything new to it in the past 7 months. But to say that that was an unauthorized Facebook page, again, try to sling mud and make me look bad. No, it wasn't. We sat right here with Steve Soper sitting right here, Janelle sitting right here, and me sitting right here. Approached this city council and said that Steve Soper had authorized the fire department Facebook page, which you all said, oh, well, that's, shook your heads in agreement that that was a good idea. And within 3 days, I sat right here in this office and made that page.
Then how come every time I asked in a council meeting and Janelle was present, and I even asked her directly.
I don't know, why didn't your mayor stand up?
No,
and say it?
I'm following up on what
Yeah, I
you
bet
said,
you
but
are.
I'm gonna say something here now too about it. Why wasn't the honesty up front?
Ask your mayor,
When I
she's
was
the one that
asking-
denied it.
What? Can
I'm
you-
not on
I
city
let you
council.
finish, will you let me finish?
Yes, I
please?
will, I apologize.
Thank you. I didn't interrupt you, but I asked Janelle several times directly if she had any knowledge about it, and she said no.
No, I never
none.
answered you. I never answered you, and I'm not on city council. So it wasn't my job to answer you. It's theirs.
But you were on the fire department.
I'm not on city council. Ask the question to the right people.
If we approved a Facebook page, I would like to know the date and the, vote on approving this Facebook page, because I think I've been to almost every council.
I can answer you, but I don't know that there was a vote, because
Okay.
it was authorized by the chief of the fire department. But it was at the meeting when we all came in here and first started talking about all the nozzles being broken, and Sandy got so upset.
But when did
It was
that,
that one.
mindful of you to bring and show, this is a Facebook page I'm gonna create, because the controversy was how it was worded as the Twin Lakes Fire and Rescue, you know, we're your Twin Lakes
Again-
Fire Department,
again,
not and rescue.
And I understand your concern, but
Okay.
again, consider that I was only here and on that department actively for what, 3 months? And when I left, unpleasantly, as everybody knows, it was for me to just not comment a whole lot, under the advice of legal counsel.
So, do you know who the administrator of that page is now?
I don't know that there is anybody. I took my name off it, like I said, probably 7 months ago. If you, I haven't looked at it in that long, so I don't know if it's been updated by anybody. I don't know. I know one of the other peoples that were an administrator doesn't want to be brought in, but is no longer on the fire department. They had left when everybody left.
And Kathy, you asked if
Yeah,
anybody
I
knew
don't-
anything about it, and you knew all about it.
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember
Well,
that.
you're the one that gave me the
I remember
passcode.
sitting with you and, Janelle, when you were trying to do, all that stuff. I don't remember a council meeting with Steve being there, just because I don't remember.
And I understand that, but the council meeting I'm specifically referring to had Steve and Janelle and I sitting here talking about all the broken nozzles. At least 5 out of 7, I believe, was the correct number. And Sandy got very heated about why are they broke, why have they not been fixed? And I said they're in the logbook that some of them have been broke for 2 years. That's the meeting where the Facebook page was approved.
I'm sure Janelle's got that recording.
I don't.
I think that's before you started recording them.
Well, and beyond that, I'm gonna say, we've had many, many discussions and asked many, many times that we don't know who is the administrator, and we know the information that was being put on there was slanted a certain way, and all the new content was not coming through council.
Well, and I did tell you at one point in time when you asked me that I had been an administrator.
Yes,
Okay, just want to clarify that. Thank you. And I do not have access to it.
yeah, and I passed that information on, and you said, yes, you were at one time, but you're not anymore, and you wouldn't say who is. So, I don't know what we can do about that.
You can't. I just wanted to clear the air on it.
Okay. Any more final guest public comment? Okay, with that, we will move on to the bills for approval. has for November, 1,573.98. Water hours, sewer hours, a couple general hours. Lisa, for the month of November, 52 hours, 1,192.36. Reimburse Travis, Gilbert B. Steele. Looks like there's a few. And then wind supply. 4167 total. Reimburse Lisa. Stamps, office supplies, 9165. Reimburse Larry Slatton, bump bars, fasteners, 641. American Legal Publishing, this is a PDF, it's the 2019 Basic Minnesota Code in PDF, $35. Auto Value, a wheel bolt, doesn't say what category. It's $29.16. Fastenal, a battery, which is half water and half sewer, $12.74. Hawkins, some more chlorine cylinder demurrage, $20. The water connection, Minnesota Department of Health, $199. And then the legal fees. It looks like it's a lot of pages, a lot of time. Well, and some of it's gonna be data practices. Looks like the data practices is $2,408.75.
Told you.
That's the data practices.
For something that's already state law?
The cannabis, looks like the cannabis, stuff that they've done so far is $280.50.
I thought that was only supposed to be $188.
No, it was $188 per hour for that attorney. That attorney is cheaper than, Matt Benda himself. That's the way I understood it. When he was at our meeting and talked to all of us at that council meeting.
Guy that beer truck was
The chip, yeah. But for that guy, it's that time, but for the other things, coordinating all of this, it's, Peterson Coker Hay. So that was $280.50, the $2,480 was then the rest is the civil case that's happening right now. And that is $7,341.63, and the total of those three bills together is $10,030.88. A different bill, and we'll come back to that legal bill. We have a bill for, Owatonna Fire and Safety for the annual inspection of the fire extinguisher, that's $100.
And that was actually some equipment stuff, so I'm wondering if some of the grant money can pay for that, instead of that being the city's problem. Can that come out of the grant?
If, as long as we know what the grants can pay and it can cover the pay covered, then yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, Yeah, actually, the newest grant was Freeborn More, and I believe you can use it for that. So, I'm asking if maybe, our grant money from the fire department can pay for that.
Yeah, if it qualifies, when the fire department has a bill, they need to let us know. Yeah, that qualifies.
Yeah, but that one actually, Freeborn More, yes.
Let's go back to the lawyer bill, and I know there's a big controversy about it, and there's a civil complaint against the city of Twin Lakes. Peterson, Hofer, Haight, and Benda is the city's attorney. They're obliged to defend us. And we've got legal matters pending. That's what it is. There's a statute. Yeah, the civil complaint that's pending. The legal, yeah. And data practice and a civil the cannabis amount was $280.50. The data practice so far is $2,408.75. We will have more on that when we contact them and try to get more information for a draft and for them to answer the Terry numbers. So that there'll be more legal fees coming with that. And then the big one is the civil complaint. $7,341. That's for the Haskell civil complaint.
How many times has Benda talked to the council? And how many times has he talked to you individually? I would say he did have to detail that out. And charge him separately.
He's been here before, and he spoke and said when he deals with city complaints like that, he deals with the mayor and the clerk. He doesn't.
But that's not what the law says.
That's not how that goes.
Unless we had a monthly closed client attorney privilege meeting, which is maybe what your council should have done or wants to do in the future, they just don't normally do it that way.
Well, I can tell you there was never a vote to hire Matt Benda to do that by council.
January, when he's chosen by council as legal counsel and as oath taken as council members to protect the city and its members, that all falls under that. And even if you're trying to attack somebody individually, once their job is being counsel, it just doesn't work that way. So if you're trying to point fingers and attack individuals, you're attacking the whole city. So we'll put table on that. I want a motion. Well, let me go through the ACH because I didn't do them yet. The ACHs. Para, $281.36. 941 employer federal tax, $965.28. Freeborn Mauer, $678.58. Minnesota Energy, $46.04. And WCTA, $146.40. And Microsoft 365 Business Standard, $150 per year. Is there a motion to pay the bills with the exception of Peterson, Coker, Hayden, and Benda bill?
I'll make a motion to pay bills except that one.
Any further discussion? Any questions? Motion's been made and seconded to pay all of the bills except for Peterson, Coker, Hayden, and Benda. All in favor? Opposed?
I'm gonna ask that this be a separate one then, if you wanna pay the bills and have, instead of tabling this, make this a motion. How do they wanna make the motion? pay Peterson Coker agenda
Table
bill.
till next month.
Table. Yeah, but it's part of the bill, this is a separate motion on it. Not to table a bill needs to either, or then you should make a motion not to pay it.
You could also motion to
Motion
pay,
to
you could also pay to pay the cannabis part and just with, you know, pay the stuff that you're agreeing
Yeah,
on.
that's probably what we should do, because.
Okay, so we'll have separate item on the Peterson, Colgate, and Benda bill. And we'll look at it in three amounts, $280.50 as, cannabis, $2,408. $75 as data practices, and then the $7,431 and odd cents. We'll look at them all separately and talk about that. Pay a portion, pay which portions not to pay.
I make a motion to pay the cannabis part. That's it. Table the other two.
And I'll second that.
Table is the same as no, not to pay that on this.
Table it.
Yeah, and it'll stay out there in the pile then to be brought forward. $280.50 cannabis.
It's already been a motion. To not.
There's already a motion and a second that hasn't been voted on.
Motion's been made to pay the whole thing, not table it.
But there was already a
Is there a
motion and a
There's
second.
already a motion and a second from them that you guys didn't vote on.
Now you're going in.
Oh,
Now you're going
I just took
backwards.
it that pay the $280.50, I didn't hear a motion and a second, I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah, he
no,
said to
we're
table the
table.
the rest of it.
That's a motion, that's your motion, okay? And did, who
And I
first seconded it, okay. Motion's been made and seconded to pay only $280.50 of the cannabis portion of Peterson, Coker, Hayden, Benda bill, and table the rest.
Right.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. And then just, before we adjourn, I just want to say that, what we discussed about the closed meeting notice not being right, that we can't do that, I hope, I don't necessarily believe that's actually accurate, and I think that's unfortunate that we're not going to do that while we find out for sure, so.
I've got the state statute right here.
I want to say that that's unfortunate.
She's leaving it in that.
I have a
It is unfortunate.
outgoing council comment. So I just wanted to, as Councilmember thank Kathy for the work that she's done with the city. Thank Lisa for all her work in doing it.
Statute, though, just in case she tries to publish it.
I think that the, council, the new council and old council, I think there's something out there on the legal cities that all council members should be taking a council training, code of conduct. Existing council. And then I have one other comment to make, and that goes back to that, I'm not picking on you, I'm sorry, but it was brought up that, all this, Facebook stuff, and Keith Haskell's, it was brought up, you said that I do not have anything to do with him anymore, I will not have anything to do with him anymore, and yet now he's sitting next to you and is at all the meetings and stuff, so.
Actually, at that time, you had made the comment that you were wondering who was renting the upstairs apartment. And I hadn't realized that you had put money into that building and could make that decision for us. And I said, no, he will not be renting there. That's all I said. And that was true at that time. He wouldn't be renting there at that time. Could that change in the future? Possibly. But that's, you don't have money in the building, so you don't get to make that decision. And that's my last comment then too.
I do have a comment, Janelle, as far as the medicals and you guys going to medicals and stuff, have you guys gotten a signed agreement yet?
We do actually. We start our consortium in January. And then when we actually have the, did you guys know Don Hauge had a little issue? It was a large issue. He's the guy in charge. He has to sign the piece of paper. He had a little issue. He's been out for a little bit. But at our first consortium in January, they will have correct paperwork for us. So we'll get a little bit of training before you actually get to write the letter saying, call them. So.
Okay, so we've had a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that one.
I don't think we need to discuss that, so there's been a motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
I didn't. I said you're not going to be renting there.
Oh, I used it on you. If anybody asks what they're doing back there, we could say, here's what they're doing.
Who's done, David?
It grows out.
No, but that would be cool.
I think I'll give it as a gift, or you could from the Galena Media. I have one.
Hey,
Yes.
I can't get it all to stick in there.
By the way,
This is the first time we've sat together in any meeting.
it is.
2 years.
And by the way, I never said that. I said he's not going to rent there this time. Although it wasn't livable at the time, so. Right.
That's why I left Twin Lakes. It's the only reason I left Twin Lakes.
Exactly.
We couldn't get it done before winter hit.
Right.
Anyone needs to sign it, because I don't think that's not proper.
We wouldn't do that. That's what my wife just signed it right now. Thank you.
Just let you know.
How much of it should have to put back on the table?
How about that here?
Thank you.
Guess what? Council will put it back to the table.
Yeah, I know we
For the
will.
big goal.
I know. If anybody asks what they're doing back there, just
How can you do your duty if you don't know the Constitution?
Right.
They should all go through constitutional training and knowing exactly what. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
How can an elected board
Right.
that takes an oath to support and defend the Constitution not even have a copy in the office? Because they're supposed to measure it against the Constitution before they pass any ordinance.
Yeah. And actually,
And if
that's
any
the
ordinance is
point, because
passed-
I have little pocket constitutions.
Yeah,
That I
exactly.
bought, a couple years ago, actually.
Yeah.
I have 50 of them. I'm gonna grab them and get, I mean, literally, they should be all over this building.
They should be.
I like that.
And they should be.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. I've been trying to get it in my town. I mean, they have unconstitutional city ordinances up the wazoo.
I bet.
And I brought it up to them. They go, oh, well, it's been like that for 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? I'm bringing
But
it
that
up to you
doesn't
right
mean that
now.
you
It's still a
continue.
violation of the Constitution. What are you going to do about it? They've done nothing.
Oh,
I've been
no, that's not
ignored.
good.
Where'd Dave go?
Absolutely ignored.
I don't know.
So, I mean, it's
Is this one yours?
yeah.
Okay. Oh. Stiff. A little stiff. Thank you, sir.
Pretty common.
Brr. It is cold.
I don't seem to be very well here.
I don't know why though. I mean, I don't think that you've ever been rude.
No.
I mean, in my
Speak about the
opinion.
Constitution. I don't even speak about people.
Yeah.
I speak about the Constitution. That's it.
Yeah. You know, and honestly, I don't think anybody's ever talked to anybody rudely here. My thing is that it's like, why is Pat constantly just focused on me? It's like, am I that big of a hero in your world?
Right.
Or am I just that gorgeous?
Probably that.
There you go. Let's go with gorgeous. Let us in. 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 Right? Okay. Holy shit.
Council voted on the audit. It passed, okay?
So that one.
Handed this to Evelyn and she refused to sign it. She doesn't have the right to refuse to sign it as a council member when the council voted to do this.
Did she sign it now?
No, she wouldn't sign it. She wouldn't sign it. That's what I told you.
But they can turn it in, can't they? Because Lisa signed it.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my God, you guys did